Hello. Hello, hello, hello. I already see many angry chatters in the stream, and I just want to make sure my mods know that if they are angry, they are okay to say their piece. That is totally a-okay. Ultimately, as long as they stay and listen, that's okay as well. So, mods, you do not need to time people out, especially if they are here for civil discussion, especially if they are here to have a conversation. Same thing with the whole Tectone thing. I know most of these people are from Tectone's community anyway, so it is what it is. So, let us begin. Right. Where do we begin? All right, this is the document. So Braxophone today made a document a twit longer about me. Put on slow. I guess we can put on slow, maybe 2. Maybe 3. Anyway, if you have genuine questions, I will be getting to those after we read through the document. Anyway, let us go through this. All right, so as I can already see, a lot of people in the chat are either saying rat or snake or you suck, and that's totally okay. You guys are allowed to hold that opinion, especially after this document, which paints me in this light. And I can understand somewhat from where Brax is coming from, but let's take a look. Hey, aren't you busy? I just got home. All right. TLDR, Atsu hates me, I don't know why. TLDR, Atsu spreads hate of me to other creators and industry professionals, I don't know why. TLDR, Atsu uses people to climb the social ladder while calling everyone who's not in his circle ladder climbers. TLDR, Atsu's coming after me and my friends in the open now, and I'm tired of it. I just want to be left alone and not have my career tampered with. Now on this last one, I would like to make clear that I did indeed subtweet Braxophone, because my suspicions were Braxophone was Tectone's source. And I will give you guys why I thought that. And we'll see. And if he isn't the source, then I apologize. So he says, I was subtweeted yesterday. I found out on stream from a viewer since I'm blocked, I'm not able to see his tweets about a grudge, which is absolutely crazy because I had let this blow over for a long time and I was really just letting it go. I haven't spoken to Atsu in over a year and I don't remember the last time I talked about Atsu. And I've never gone public about my experience either. I believe it's within the last 1 year, Braxophone has gone through multiple avenues to try to get to me, to try and have other people speak on his behalf. And I think everyone's already seen the DMs where I told him straight up that I don't want to be his friend. I don't like his vibe. And I think it was pretty clear that I don't want to be his friend. So, he says, I've kept quiet about this for a long time for a few reasons. I don't like stirring up drama when something involves me, of course. I'm going to respond to it if it's a big misconception or something like that, but most of the time I leave it alone. Watching other people's drama is fun sometimes, but ultimately it's only fun if it's not a really big deal and both parties can walk away from it at the end of the day. This is not something that I think will go away quickly and not without repercussions for both me and Atsu. I'm scared of what will happen to me for coming out with this information. Bridges have been burned without my knowing due to things that Atsu has said about me that are out of my control. I worried that I might just be straight up wrong. Maybe I was wrong about all of it, and it was just a huge coincidence. After yesterday, I'm 100% sure I was right. But would you elaborate more about not wanting to be? We will get into that. So, in this twit longer, I'm going to compile all of the things that have happened to me as a result of Atsu and his influence over the Genshin content space. I will not touch on other creators' experiences, and I don't believe it's in my right to tell their stories, and I want to respect other victims' decisions by not going public. but I can confirm that there are others who have had similar experiences, showing patterns in this behavior. Ladder climbing, manipulation, weaponizing audiences, gatekeeping, and more. Bridges burned before I even knew they were open. Content creators warned about me that I had never even spoke to or about. Hell, even Tectone was warned about me. Tectone, the guy who the entire Genshin community consistently rallies against, was warned about me. And yet he was the only one who made an actual effort to be my friend and get to know me. I understand that a lot of these scenarios may end up having vague details. As I stated before, I want to tell my story without implicating anybody who doesn't want to be a part of it. And we already know that was not the case. So here's my story from start to finish. And when I say we already know that was not the case, is in the sense that he did not avoid it, not implicating people who didn't want to be involved. So here's my story from start to finish. When I first met Atsu, it was Anime NYC, the year after I started making content on Genshin Impact. He was very kind to me, offered to take a picture. At this point, I struggled a lot with communication and social anxiety thanks to COVID isolation, compounding on my already sparse social skills. Around the time Genshin blew up, I had transferred schools. Since everything was online, I wasn't used to actually talking to people. So my interactions with new people were pretty awkward, but nothing awful, just a lot of awkward small talk. I walked away from that interaction feeling pretty okay with it because Atsu made it feel normal, so I thought we were good. Naturally, I asked for the photo, posted on Twitter, and that was it. I thought we were on good terms. Now, from his perspective, I think that's totally fine. From my perspective, there was basically like a fan meet at the Javits Center, right? And then during that time, he and 4 cosplayers, I want to say, walked up to us. I think the people were me, Jake, and Dawn. This is the first time I've met Jake and Dawn as well. And he spoke to me like just one-to-one as if we were friends. So that was a bit weird to me. And this is the first time I've been in America as a content creator, so I wasn't sure if he was like a fan or if he was another content creator until he brought it up, and then, or he introduced himself, and then in my mind I was like, I don't know this person, but we had the conversation and it was fine. He asked for a photo, we took a photo, and then I sent it to him later on Twitter in DMs. I know a lot of people are being like, so narcissistic. He just wanted to get to know you. There are a lot of spammers in here. But guys, we're going to go through this chronologically. So for those of you who have genuine questions, please understand that I'm going to go through this chronologically. We have many people who dislike me in here who are going ham right now. Spammers, it's fine if you time out spammers, but anyone with actual questions or actual wants to have discourse, they are more than welcome to be in the chat. Anyway, so he thought we were on good terms. And then I mentioned this in my twit longer, is my big mistake was following him back on Twitter. Because a lot of people think that if you follow each other on Twitter, you are friends. Anyway, I followed him back on Twitter so I could DM him the picture. I sent him the picture, and then is this gap. I don't think I spoke to him again until Anime Expo 2022. In the time between the two conventions, he had held some collaborations with other creators, but I just kind of assumed I was too small to join, because as a smaller creator, I assumed bigger creators wouldn't talk to you unless you had numbers. He seemed oddly avoidant at the convention itself though, avoiding spaces I was at and eye contact. Eventually, I went to speak with him because I thought it was probably all in my head, and I just want to make friends and get to know the people working the space with me. Again, social anxiety was still bad because as a YouTuber and introvert, I never leave my house. This is where I assume things for him got weird because honestly, I don't know what I did. And in fairness, In fairness for him, I never did tell him what he did. Or rather, during this period between 2021 and 2022, after I followed him on Twitter, I already put this in my twit longer, is he would incessantly talk about numbers, growth, just content. And that's understandable as a content creator. But that's not something I am personally interested in. Like, I don't want to be around that kind of person. And then this sentence here, he had held some collaborations with other creators, but I just kind of assumed I was too small to join in because as a smaller creator, I assumed bigger creators wouldn't talk to you unless you had numbers. This is one of the things that after our first interaction and the way I saw him tweet, and I know people in the chat are going to be unhappy when I say this, but as a creator, I don't believe anyone is entitled to your time or your friendship. I don't think anyone is entitled to your time or your friendship. So this statement here, like, why does he assume I was collab with him regardless of his size? This is not something that I am too fond of, but we will continue. We will continue. And then Anime Expo was the next time we met. I remember he was, because Braxophone is very, very, very tall. He's very, very, very tall. And he was wearing, I believe it was a Tartaglia cosplay. Okay. And then he says, basically, there's this voice actor who's been a terror to other voice actors. Another voiceover friend told me that I should warn other content creators that he's been a creep and a terror to other people. So that's the topic I brought up. Looking back, big yikes for a conversation starter, but the way I saw it, I was just doing what I was told to do, as both Atsu and other creators regularly talk to the terror creep VO. Won't elaborate, because at this point, the details are no longer mine to share. I think he has the timeline a bit mixed up here. So the first time I saw Braxophone at Anime Expo was during like this GENSHIN stage, and he was dressed up as Tartaglia. The second time I met Braxophone was at Anime Expo, where he was at the party with a voice actress. And the first thing he does at that party, he comes up to me and he says, XXX person is a sexual predator. And okay, as he says, looking back, big yikes for a conversation. So it's just very, very bizarre thing to say to me. Now, the crazy thing when you guys are saying proof is it's literally written here. So all these people who are saying proof, he's literally written it here. Basically, there's this voice actor who's been a terror to other voice actors. Another VO friend told me that I should warn other content creators that he's been a creep and a terror to other people. Honestly, if you don't realize that this is not like a matter of proof, and he's literally written it here, of course he's not going to use harsher words, but guys, when you see creep and terror, what do you think he's alluding to? I remember what he said to me because it's like a whiplash moment. Anyway, admittedly, as he says, looking back, big yikes for a conversation starter, but the way I saw it, I was just doing what I was told to do. As both Atsu and other creators regularly talk to the terror creep VO. Won't elaborate because at this point the details are no longer mine to share. Anyway, I think some people in the chat are starting to realize that we have certain kinds of viewers in here who aren't even listening, which is fine. That's fine, guys. You know, that's fine. Of course, there's going to be a bunch of people who are angry. There's 2 large content creators who are trying to cook my ass. So naturally, their viewers are going to come my way. But we've already seen here, these people are like, proof, where's the proof? No reading comprehension. This is literally something Brax has written in his statement. Anyway, I think we can both agree here, both myself and Braxophone, that was a very weird way to open a conversation. Anyway, the conversation was very short and we both went about our days no issue. When there was an issue, however, was during one of the nights of AX at a party. At this point, I had become good friends with Jenny Yokobori and she invited me to go with her to meet some more of her friends and I was excited to go. I don't think she wants to be wrapped up in all this at all, so I'm not going to at her or anything, but you might see her in a couple photos later. Essentially, the entire Atsu Genshin clique was there. Before I go on, I was completely unaware at this point that people were avoiding me. I thought it might be possible, but I am also hyper aware of my social anxiety and most people I've spoken to are just fine talking to me. Anyways, I tried to talk with the Genshin creator folks since that's the crowd I fit best with at the party and most of them were fine talking with me. Atsu kept avoiding talking to me or being near me. Well, that's because the first thing he did was come up to me and accuse someone of being a sexual predator. So that was just very weird. And I didn't really want to stay around that. I want to point out that Joshua and Dish were both incredibly kind and fun to talk to. I didn't feel judged or anything by them. I felt some weird tension with the others, but maybe I was just bad at reading things. I can't really speak on this because that's between him and them. But for me, you know, if the first thing you say to someone and you're not like friends with them is this person is a sexual predator, it's you know, it's just such a strange thing to start with, and it is what it is. Anyway, at one point everyone wanted to go and get a picture together and I assumed I wasn't a part of it, but Dish invited me to join them for photos. I look like an actual skinwalker in them, but here's the photo. You won't find this on the internet because as far as I know, no one used it. Maybe I'm wrong though. So in this instance, to me, and as far as I'm aware to others, we were going to take a group photo and Braxophone just randomly walks in. Now, his claim is that Dish invited them, or Dish invited him to join the photo. And if that's the case, then so be it. That's the case. Right? So if Dish brought him into the photo, then that's the case. I don't know whether that's true or not because we were already posing for the photo. And then he joined in afterwards. So I don't know if Dish really brought him in. And I don't know whether that's true or not. I haven't spoken to Dish, so I don't know. Anyway, moving on. Right after taking this photo, however, Atsu brought everyone back for a photo specifically without me in it. Which is not true because I didn't bring people back for a photo. That was someone else. And I believe because Bao wanted to be in it as well. Bao is not in this photo right now. There's a photo that I have posted online which literally has Bao in it. But anyway, continue on. And there's nothing wrong with wanting photos with your friends, but for someone who supposedly doesn't have an issue with me, it's very weird for them to take photos without me and post the versions that exclude me instead. That doesn't explain why you edited Brax of the photo. I didn't edit Brax out of the photo. It's a different photo. It's a different photo. Anyway. Now here's where I think maybe some of the hate towards me began. I honestly don't know. You did edit him out? What do you mean? Can you guys show me? It's the same photo with him cropped out. Which one? Oh, this photo? Okay, so this photo, as you can see, Bao is literally here. Can you see the context of this tweet, guys? Oh, sorry, my face is in the way. Can you see the context of this tweet? This is all the people who are going to Conquest. And this is the only photo we have of every single person here in this photo, including Joshua as well, and Bao with her VTuber model. And as you can see, I've even edited Saki out. It's not just Brax, by the way. I edited Saki and Brax out of this photo because neither of them are going to Conquest. So I edited them both out. So for people who are like court, or for people who are trying to take this out of context, I've literally edited Saki out as well. But like, if you don't want to acknowledge that, that's okay as well. Because Saki is a VTuber? No, because she's not going to be the guest at Conquest. Braxophone and Saki were not Conquest guests here. So obviously, I've just put Bao there because Bao is going to be a guest. Then why use this pic? Because it's literally a picture with all of us in it. In one photo. For those of you who don't know, I don't live in America, so I can't take photos with these people on a normal occasion. Edit a new picture. No. I have to emphasize, guys, I don't live in America and I don't live with these people, so I can't take photos like this on a whim. Anyway, well, apparently some people are saying I'm lying about not living in America. Okay. Anyway, apologies. It's not a different photo. It's the same photo. My bad. Apologies. But I thought you guys were referring to something else. But as you can see, the context is literally here. This is for Conquest. And neither Saki or Brax are guesting there. And this just happened to be a nice photo where everyone is in here. So I used that photo and I put Bao on there instead. Anyway, let's continue. Now, here's where I think maybe some of the hate towards me began. I honestly don't know. There was a girl there I hadn't met who I now know as the VTuber Saki. When I introduced myself and asked who she was earlier in the day at the convention, she told me, oh, I'm nobody. The rest of the circle of Genshin creators we were in did not elaborate or explain further either at the con itself or at the party, so I assumed she was just there as a friend of another creator who just wasn't interested in talking to me. Never at any point during that party was I told who she was. Now, I know this is partially my fault. Even with my lacking social skills that decayed further with COVID, none of my friends had ever needed me to give the okay to post group photos. I did not think to check with everyone in the photo that they would be okay with it going up on my account. And I uploaded it uncensored without a second thought. So for a brief couple hours, Saki's face was on the internet, and I got a few panicked DMs asking me to take it down. I took it down as soon as I saw them because I wanted to respect her privacy, and I didn't even re-upload the photo so people would remember it and put things together. To this day, I'm still at a loss of how anyone could hold a grudge against me for that, considering that she never told me who she was or that she was a VTuber. But from the lens of you should have asked to post the photo first, I can understand the frustration. But that's okay, it was a one-time thing and it got fixed quickly, no big deal. That's basically my last real interaction with Atsu and that entire group. Here's why I learned that I wasn't reading into things too much, just asking directly. So going back to this Saki thing, this was very stressful when it happened. And he ended up leaking Saki's face. He did delete it and then he did apologize after Saki asked him to take it down. And that was all well and good. But then his apology rubbed people the wrong way. He's like, I don't share demographic, or I don't have a big overlap with Toronto, so it's not that big of a deal. And even here, he says, no big deal. Now, I got heated when I read this because I remember how stressful of a situation that was. And I think anyone who watches VTubers knows this. If someone post your face on the internet, for a VTuber, it's a horrible, horrible, horrible experience. You know, it's just not pleasant. So like for him to minimize that was just extremely cringe. It was just extremely cringe. And yes, he didn't know Saki was a VTuber. the fact that he brought up Toronto, though, in his apology, means that he knew Saki is Jake's girlfriend at the time? Question mark. Anyway, that was, in my opinion, that was pretty cringe. And then that's basically my last real interaction with Atsu and that entire group. Here's where I learned that I wasn't reading into things too much. I just asked him directly. And he sent me a DM, September 3rd, 2022. Hey dude, can we chat? I said, what's up? I said, I saw your post on the alt about normalizing not needing to be friends with everyone in the space, and I think that's fair. Nobody should feel like they need to be anyone's friends, and I think faking it can be pretty bad. I wanted to ask though, is there something I did? Maybe I'm just heavily misreading stuff, but I've really sort of felt like you might be avoiding interacting with me. And if that's the case, I just want to know if there's something I did. Wait. Something I did. Something I did that you didn't like. Again, I don't really think everyone needs to be friends. I would like to at least not be on bad terms with people though. And I responded and I said, hey Brax, I don't consider to be on bad terms with you, but I do keep you at arm's length simply because I don't really know you that well, and I found it a bit uncomfortable how eager you came across in trying to befriend me. It almost felt forceful. Post NYC and even post LA, certain tweets and actions I saw over time continued to reaffirm to me that it was probably indeed in my best interest to keep you at arm's length. While I would like to elaborate more, I can't say in good faith that I trust you to respect certain degrees of privacy or to keep things truly confidential. I don't think you're a bad person, but I also don't think I can really vibe with you on a friend level. And he says, thanks for the honesty. And he says, I'm pretty awkward. I haven't really gotten used to the parasocial stuff. Moving from knowing of people online to meeting them in person is not something I'm good at, and I apologize for making you uncomfortable. Generally, I want to at least be on good terms with everyone. If it helps you feel better about our past interactions, I'm not trying to clout chase or anything like that. That would be far from the best thing for me, my community, or you. I was just pretty excited to meet other creators. I really enjoy being friends with most of the creators I know. I think it would be super fun to be friends with a lot of creators I don't talk too much. But as I said, I'm pretty awkward, so I get that I don't give off a good vibe. Anyways, thanks again for the honesty, and I respect that decision. If you ever do want to chat, don't be a stranger though, no hard feelings. Okay, so Brax asked me directly, so I gave him a direct response. And I think I pretty much spoke how I felt. As I said here, I do keep you at arm's length, so he knows I keep him at arm's length. And it's because I don't really know him that well, and I found it uncomfortable how keen he was in trying to befriend me. As I said, it almost felt forceful. Post NYC and even post LA, certain tweets, which I addressed earlier in my tweet longer, or not my tweet longer, in my tweet, certain tweets and actions I saw over time continue to reaffirm to me that it was probably indeed in my best interest to keep you at arm's length. And for me, as I mentioned, I don't really want to be around people who are always talking about numbers, who are talking about growth, who are talking about money. This kind of stuff is a big turnoff for me. And then I said, while I would like to elaborate more, I can't say in good faith that I trust you to respect certain degrees of privacy or to keep things truly confidential. And this stems partially from, again, like the first thing he says to me is like he starts talking about this person he knows who is a sexual offender, or not sexual offender, a sexual predator. So, you know, he did not give me the vibe that he can have a confidential conversation. So I didn't really want to go too much into depth. And the other thing is, I don't think you're a bad person, because I understood he was telling me those kind of things for my sake, right? But I also felt that I can't really vibe with him on a friend level, because it's just such a huge jump from point A to point B. And again, a lot of people seem to be unhappy that I just didn't want to be Braxophone's friend. I see people again asking me, why not tell him that? I did tell him that I don't want to be his friend. I want to keep him at arm's length. I think it's pretty evident here that I got off my chest what I wanted to say to him. You didn't tell him why. I literally said, while I would like to elaborate more, I can't say in good faith that I trust you to respect certain degrees of privacy or to keep things truly confidential. I don't think you're a bad person, but I also don't think I can really vibe with you on a friend level. Atsu, you can't say that because it messes with their mental health. I understand that now. I understand that. That really messed him up. That really messed him up. But like, I can't just be his friend because I feel sorry for him. I can't just suddenly make myself be his friend because he says he's socially awkward. And I feel like this is very fair that if you don't want to be friends with someone, you don't have to be friends with them. But we'll get to the other point where many people are talking about. And again, I will reiterate this for the chat. If you want to talk about another part of this discussion, please do wait till we get to that point. Please do wait till we get to that point, because I'm going to go through this chronologically. Anyway, that was me setting my boundary. Now, in my eyes, I feel like this made it very clear that I don't want to interact with him. I feel like anyone who will receive this response would realize, okay, he doesn't want to talk to me, and just leave it there. So I thought he was done with thanks for the honesty, and then he wrote all of this, which is fine. He was explaining his situation. I'm pretty awkward. I haven't really gotten used to the parasocial stuff. Moving from knowing of people online to meeting them in person is not something I'm good at, and I apologize for making you uncomfortable, which is fine. Like, I accepted the apology, it's fine. Generally, I want to at least be on good terms with everyone, and if it helps you feel better about our past interactions, I'm not trying to clout chase or anything like that. That would be far from the best thing for me, my community, or you. I was just pretty excited to meet other creators. I really enjoy being friends with most of the creators I know. I think it would be super fun to be friends with a lot of creators. I don't talk too much, but as I've said, I'm pretty awkward, so I get that I don't give off a good vibe. Anyways, thanks again for the honesty, and I respect that decision. If you ever do want to chat though, don't be a stranger though, no hard feelings. So, okay. I have to ask, I know a lot of people are saying, you rat, you snake, but give me this, guys. Give me this answer, and I want you guys to be honest, all right? And if it's abusively honest, it's still honest. I want to hear from the chat, if I sent you this response, would you assume that I still want to be your friend and I still want to talk to you? Please be honest with me on that. No, right? Okay, no. And also be honest with me, even my own viewers. Do you guys think my response was harsh? Do you guys think my response was harsh? Because at the very least, I wanted to be honest with him, and I wanted to be upfront, because he asked me upfront, and it's very scary to confront someone about something like this. So I just wanted to give him as blunt, as honest as answer as possible, right? And I felt like I don't want to word it to a point where it's like, frick you, Brax, never ever talk to me again, just leave me alone forever, right? I wanted it to be in a polite manner, so that's the response I could give him. Well, obviously, he and I had already discussed some sensitive, well, I don't know sensitive, but like some wild things regarding the other voice actor. So it's a difficult position for me because, one, I know he wanted to do that to help me, but two, it's not like, is it really his place to speak? Because he doesn't know whether that accusation is true that he gave to me. I don't know if it's true. So for me, it was just, that's, for me, and I don't want to say red flag because I know people are going to twist it, but I felt like that was not good. And again, Both he and I agree that was a big yikes moment. Anyway, you guys can go back to shitting on me now. Memes aside, you guys can go back to shitting on me now. But I appreciate people were honest with how they would respond to what I said, right? Like, I'm pretty sure this made it very clear I don't want to talk to him, and I am indeed keeping him at arm's length. And then he says, so basically, I'm not on bad terms with you, but I don't want to be friends with you. And I can't tell you why because I don't trust you. That's not what I said verbatim, but that is kind of the vibe. And he's not wrong about that. Like, I'm not on bad terms with Brax at this point, but I don't want to be friends with him. I did tell him, and I didn't give him specifics, but I told him I've already seen tweets and actions from you, and that has just led me to not trust you. So he says, where the hell did that come from? And I guess back then he didn't really think about our prior interactions, which is understandable. That's fine. That's fine. He says, I really do appreciate the honesty about it, but why can't you trust me? Well, I just explained that. For the record, I don't think that it's weird to be like, I don't know you that well, and I can even respect it if you just don't like my vibe, even though I'm a believer in giving people an honest chance rather than letting 5-minute or less rush public first impressions mean everything. But where did this trust thing come from? So I touched on it briefly in my response to him, but obviously because I didn't trust him, I didn't really want to elaborate too much. So whatever you look at it, in my eyes, guys, it's just a lose-lose situation, okay? Like, he thought we are friends. I did not see him as a friend. All our interaction was after Anime NYC was he came up to me, he talked to me. It was a bit uncomfortable for me because he was talking to me as if he knew me and we were friends. We took a photo. I sent him the photo. That was it. And I followed him back on Twitter. And then I didn't like the things he was tweeting. So for me, when that happens, I just switch off from that person. And I don't feel like I'm obligated to go out of my way to go to someone I don't know well and be like, hey, your tweets stink. You know, if anything, if that happens, I would just either block or mute them. I wholly victim blaming. So you are the victim now? No, this is not really a matter of I am the victim or Brax is the victim here. This is what I'm trying to emphasize here is our initial falling out was caused by this misunderstanding that Brax thought he could befriend me or I was already his friend, and I did not see him as a friend. So when he asked me, I straight up told him that we're not friends. And he asked me directly, which, again, it's scary to ask someone that. So I appreciate that he asked me directly. So I responded to him honestly. And I told him, we're not friends. Anyway, obviously he couldn't work out why, right? He couldn't work out why I don't trust him. And I guess that was something that really, really, really fucked him up. So for that, I do apologize. Like, I apologize if my distrust in you, like, fucked you up. But at the same time, I hope he understands, if he's watching this, that at this point, there had been many instances that just made me feel like I can't trust this person. And in general, you don't really trust strangers or people you don't know. And I personally feel like that is just normal. And I know a lot of people in the creator space or like the audience right now think that, well, everyone should still be friends. Everyone can be friends, or you're a snake for not being his friend. And all I can say to that is I just disagree with that. So why didn't you trust him? Because you guys never told him Saki was a VTuber. And you're all content creators at a convention. You knew he was a creator, so... But this is something I think... Well, I don't want to bring Saki into this anymore, so... I did not know he was initially in the photo. He's literally standing behind me, by the way, guys. I'm at the front. I was already posing, and then I see the photo was taken, and Brax is in there. I did not realize that he was in the photo. Saki did not realize he was in the photo, and then the photo was already taken. We didn't know Dish invited him to join the photo. I've already touched on that, but we're going all the way back now to something we've already covered. All right, let's continue. Atsu, like you haven't really shown any concrete examples of things you didn't like beyond your initial meeting. Well, they're his tweets. Fiddy, like they're his tweets from when I was following him back then. Which tweets? These are just tweets like, let me give you the generic. Okay. Let me give you the statement I gave earlier. When someone tweets a lot about numbers, someone tweets a lot about growth, someone tweets a lot about this content creation stuff, which I said in my tweet, my own tweet, it's totally okay for content creators to want to grow. It's totally okay for people to have, who are way more interested in growing, way more interested in making money, way more interested in all of these things. But that's not an attitude and that's not a vibe I want to be around. Anyway, let's continue. It was just such a strange response overall, and at first, I only told my closest friend about it, who's not even involved in this space at all, because I didn't want to risk this getting out of hand. I was just confused as hell. Imagine you're told, I don't want anything to do with you on a friend level, and then they Dr. Ratio follow-up hit you with, I don't trust you to keep things confidential. What can you do? Either I keep it to myself and I just have to cope with the idea that one of the biggest influencers in the Genshin space doesn't trust me, and potentially the entire friend group by extension, or I do exactly what Atsu accuses me of by going to them for clarification and break this confidentiality. Atsu implies with his DM and prove myself to be as untrustworthy as he claims. It's a catch-22. There's no way out. If I tell another creator what happened so I can figure out why people don't trust me, I'm breaking that trust. So this does make me sad to read because obviously he felt trapped in this situation. But for me, as I said, if I don't trust him, I can't suddenly make myself trust him. Right? And if I don't want to elaborate because I don't trust him, it's not really like I can just say, okay, here's everything. And maybe I should have done that. Maybe I should have just laid it out all to him there and then. But at that time, I was already not comfortable with him. And as I said, I just didn't trust him. So I didn't go into full details. I did not elaborate. I gave him a very generic blanket statement here, which I could have elaborated on. But as I said, I saw over time, continue reaffirming to me that it was probably indeed my best interest to keep you at arm's length. And the main issue was I felt he was trying too hard to force a friendship with me. And he said, I ended up making a vague twit longer talking about burnout being perpetuated by not having many friends. COVID isolation hit me hard and YouTube is an at-home job, so I just felt really alone. It's also worth noting I was diagnosed with depression and medicated for a while a few months later, but at the time it was pretty bad. Josh DM'd me just extending a hand and being kind as he was when we met at that party initially, but he also mentioned he has stepped up to bat for me. I don't want to share DMs out of respect for his privacy, basically a very nice message to receive, but I thought it was also weird that he had to go up to bat for me. What did I do? Why was he having to go up to bat for me? What were people talking about that involved me at that point? I would also like to know this, but again, this is a private DM between him and Josh, so we are not going to know unless either of them comes out and says it. He says, eventually I said, fuck it, my mental health is more worth it than that. And I told a couple of my close friends, every single one of them thought it was weird AF. But one of them told me that they had heard from someone else. They didn't want to name the one who told them not to trust me, that I couldn't be trusted. And so I asked more friends, and another friend told me the same thing, but they also didn't want to implicate who had warned them about me. So here he's insinuating that it is me. Now, this is where things get a little bit interesting. So, after the AX party, I remember my car, I believe it was Dish, Joshua, and also Dawn, maybe. And I specifically said that Brax made me uncomfortable because of that whole sexual predator thing. And I said I don't trust him. And that's what I said to Dish, Joshua, and Dawn. But I did not tell them, don't be his friend. You can't talk to him. Of course, if I'm feeling uncomfortable, I'm going to confide in my friends and say I was uncomfortable and it was weird. And that his vibes for me were off. His vibes were not pleasant. Anyway, he says, eventually I said, fuck it, my mental health is worth more than that. I told a couple of my close friends. Every single one of them thought it was weird AF. But one of them told me that they had heard from someone else. They didn't want to name the one who told them not to trust me, that I couldn't be trusted. And so I asked more friends, and another friend told me the same thing, but they also didn't want to implicate who had warned them about me. We'll keep going from this. Obviously, no one who dislikes me is going to be like, where's the proof? Because again, he says he doesn't want to implicate people. So let's see. Throughout all of that time, exclusive meetups, get-togethers, parties, and more would happen. From 2021 to now, they happen at every convention and at random Hoyoverse events. Every time I would be asked by a friend if I'm going to that party, that get-together, that dinner, etc. And every time I would say what because I was never invited. So I do some digging, who's putting these together, Atsu or someone in that immediate circle. I found out that Atsu managed to talk to Hoyoverse into sponsoring a shit ton of creators to go to events. So this is the narrative that I believe Tectone has received. And if this is just my speculation, because Tectone always says, oh, Atsu decides who gets the contracts. And this sentence just seems very similar to what my speculation was. And that might not be the case. So if that's not the case, I apologize. But I hope people can see why this is just very uncanny. Anyway, I was told he took a pay cut for it, which is incredibly kind of him. Okay, so I'll talk about it in a moment. But the idea that he can get Hoyoverse, a company that notoriously does whatever the fuck they want, whenever the fuck they want to do it, to sponsor more people is concerning to me. I'll return to this in a bit, though. Hear me out, guys. I have taken a pay cut to get a big group of people sponsored to go to an event. Do you want to know what event that was? Conquest. Which is not Hoyoverse. It's Conquest. So I am not 100% sure what he is talking about here. Maybe he is misremembering some information, but what he's referring to here is, I'm pretty sure, Anime Expo. And at Anime Expo, Hoyoverse did sponsor a big group of content creators because I pitched the idea. I emailed them, I pitched the idea, and I said, okay, Anime Expo's happening. Honkai Star Rail's coming out soonish. I'm sure we can work something out here. So we had several creators sponsored, but they were already working on sponsorships. And Hoyoverse has already done this in the past, where at conventions they would sponsor creators. But this one was just convenient because a lot of us were sharing a big Airbnb. So what Brax has put here about the pay cut, I'm wondering if he's hearing and misremembering two different things here, of Conquest, which I put in a lot of work to try and organize a bunch of us to go to Conquest, and I took a pay cut for that so that they could, they can afford flying out a lot of international creators to the Philippines. This is not what I believe Brax is talking about. Anyway, let's go back to this one. From 2021 to now, they happen at so throughout all that time, exclusive meetups, get-togethers, parties, and more would happen. From 2021 to now, they happen at every convention, at random Hoyoverse events. Every time I would be asked by a friend if I'm going to that party, that get-together, that dinner, etc. And every time I would say what? Because I was never invited. So I do some digging, who's putting these together, Atsu or someone in that immediate circle. So this is the thing that is very, 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 very bizarre to me, is as far as I'm aware, Braxophone's, who are Braxophone's friends? Because I don't believe his friends overlap with my friends, question mark. Who is he referring to here? Right? He's obviously FOMOing here and he's having fear of missing out, but who is he referring to here? So he says, every time I would be asked by a friend if I'm going to that party, that get-together, that dinner. So, for example, dinner, guys. Does he think that we're having, these dinners with, 40 million bajillion content creators? What's going on? The dinners I would have with people when I go abroad is obviously going to be my friends. It's obviously going to be people who I'm staying with, like Airbnb. Of course, I'm going to eat with my friends. If I'm going to hang out with people, of course, I'm going to hang out with my friends. And for parties, I'm not hosting any party. I don't live in America. I don't have a home to host parties. There was one time, and I believe it was at TwitchCon, where we hosted a party. TwitchCon was the only time that I hosted a party at any of these conventions, and I don't believe Braxophone was there. And even if he was there, obviously, if I'm hosting the party and I don't like Braxophone, or I don't get along with him, or I think he makes me feel uncomfortable, then I'm not going to invite Braxophone to the party. I don't think that is unfair. I think that is totally normal, that if I'm going to host a party and it's my party, then of course I'm not going to invite him. I don't feel like that's unreasonable, but I feel like he feels that he deserved to be at these parties and that he's entitled to be at these parties because he has this apparent friend who is going to all these exclusive meetups, these get-togethers, these parties, and more that is happening. And then every time I'd be asked by a friend, if I'm going to that party, that get-together, that dinner, etc., every time I would say what? Because I was never invited. So I do some digging, who's putting these together? Atsu or someone in that immediate circle. Now, if he's referring to someone else, well, I don't know who he's referring to. It would either be Jake or it would either be Ed. Ed has also hosted a party. If you don't know Ed, BTMC, but Ed is not friends with Braxophone, so I don't think they even are aware of each other. I found out that Atsu managed to talk Hoyoverse into sponsoring a shit ton of creators to go to events. This is unfortunately just not true. So this is another thing this is why I was challenging Tectone. Tectone was like, Atsu controls the contracts. Chat, you want a contract? I'll give you a Genshin Impact contract. So for a lot of people who this whole time in my chat, guys, have been like, proof. Can we have proof? I found out that Atsu managed to talk to Hoyoverse and sponsor a shit ton of creators to go to events. Can we have this proof that I am controlling Hoyoverse? I was told he took a pay cut for it, which is incredibly kind of him. Can I have proof? Who's telling you this? Right, obviously you don't want to reveal who's telling you this, but at the moment, a lot of this stuff that he's saying is just rumors. A lot of the stuff he's saying is just rumors, and a lot of people are just eating it up. He has provided zero proof. He's provided zero proof of these statements whatsoever, but whatever. Let's just keep going on then. But the idea that he can get Hoyoverse, a company that notoriously does whatever the F they want, whenever the F they want to do it, sponsor more people, is concerning to me. I'll return this in a bit though. Now I need to check something between our DMs, and I showed a little bit of it. Okay, I showed a little bit of it on my Twitter. And I want to go back to the DMs that chat when I asked you guys, and again, this is to Tectone, this is to everyone, all right? When I sent that DM saying I'm keeping you at arm's length, I don't trust you, can't really elaborate, even as unfair as you think that is, do you think that is an invitation for him to keep talking to me? Like, is it not obvious that I don't want to talk to him anymore? So this is the very, 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 very intriguing thing, right? And this will tie into the stuff later. And this is DMs that he didn't want to show in his tweet longer. And he's not shown these. And I will give you guys a screenshot. Okay, and for the Tectone viewers, this one is for you. This one is for you, because for me, this is just... I can't believe he has not included this. So this is directly after our conversation of me saying I don't want to. Let me just screenshot that as well so you guys can see. Like the gap between the conversation. So September 4th, 2022. Anyway, thanks again for the honesty. I respect that decision. If you ever do want to chat, don't be a stranger, no hard feelings. October 18th. Yo, could I ask you some Genshin Hoyoverse business-related stuff? You definitely know this space better than I do, and this is going to be a pretty big deal for me if it goes through. I'd ask others, but I don't know many creators getting deals like this. So I said, sure. Right, like, I already don't want to talk to this guy. He knows that, but he still asked me this. Like, fine, whatever, right? He sees me as this beacon of Hoyoverse, and, like, you know, yes, I said sure. Of course I'm going to say sure, guys. I don't trust him. If I say no, he's going to shit on me. That's how I felt. That's how I felt, but it's whatever, right? Like, he wants to make money. It's fine if he wants to make money. Like, I'm not here to go after his money. So if he wants to make money, he wants to make money. So I said, sure. And then he said, what sort of thing should I be looking at for a total content buyout? Not sure exactly how I should price myself if a company wants to buy exclusivity, no content, including streams, on competing games and rights to some of my videos. I'm aware of how much I would ask if it was a video by video basis, but this is more of a make content you want to make, but no competition, and also we own a fraction of your stuff for a year. Figuring out what a brand is worth seems hard, lol. I also don't know if it's worth missing opportunities in future games. Now, I can give my response to that, but I don't know if he wants me to put on, like a suggestion of how much money he's making. But essentially, I just gave him like a massive long-last paragraph of advice on how to price himself. Right? So this whole contract talk, all of this contract stuff, that's why I assumed it was from him. And again, if it's not him, I sincerely apologize. But like, everything just pointed towards it's Braxophone that's feeding this whole Genshin Impact contract narrative. It's Braxophone feeding the Atsu is the one that decides Genshin Impact contracts. So he did not include this in his tweet longer. He did not include this at all. I made it clear I did not want to talk to him. But he still sent me this message. But of course, I still helped him out. And again, that was probably a mistake. I should have just ignored him. Honestly, I should have just ignored him. But like, honestly, this whole narrative that Tectone and now Braxophone are spinning, that I control Genshin Impact, and maybe Brax has always believed this, and that's why he asked me, because he thinks I'm like an actual Hoyoverse employee. This to me is so hypocritical. This is so hypocritical. Right, like, but whatever. People do not care. People do not care. They've already made up their judgments, but people do not care. You can edit these types of things. You can ask Braxophone to show our DMs, and you will see none of this is edited. You can see none of this is edited. Why is Braxophone blacklisted? Okay. Braxophone is talking about getting a 1-year contract from Hoyoverse. How is that blacklisted? How is that blacklisted? How is that blacklisted? Anyway, let us continue. All right. Naturally, I wondered why I was excluded, did some more digging, and found out that I was explicitly blacklisted from those events. I see. So that's what you guys mean. Blacklisted from events. Because those events were not small. They would say small get-together, but it would be every single effing Genshin creator and also creators outside of Genshin. Almost every one of my friends in attendance of the event that precedes the party, dinner, whatever, would get an invite. And some of them were told specifically not to let me know they are happening. What the F did I do? Why couldn't anyone tell me why I was excluded from everything? And to this I have to say, where is this proof? Where is the proof? Because those events were not small. They would say small get-together. So what, like the whole Genshin Impact community is going to party, is going to these small events, small get-together events, and Braxophone is not there. If I recall correctly, he talks about one later down the line where they had a birthday cake for me. It was like a Hoyo creators meetup, and one of my friends bought a birthday cake for me at that event. It's not a Hoyoverse birthday party for me, but this is one of these things. Like he's saying, but it would be every single Genshin creator, also creators outside of Genshin. And I would like to hear from him what events are, like, what is he referring to? Because from my memory, we had get-togethers at our Airbnb. We had dinners together. And by we, I mean myself and my friends. So I don't know 100%, like, what does he expect? If I'm going to eat with my friends, I'm going to eat with my friends. And if I'm organizing the dinner, of course, I'm not going to invite Braxophone. But if it's someone else hosting an event and not inviting Braxophone, then he should speak to that person. Because I think it's pretty obvious from my position, I'm not going to invite Braxophone to dinner. I'm not going to invite Braxophone to the Airbnb I'm staying at. Almost every one of my friends in attendance of the events that precedes the party, dinner, whatever, would get an invite. And some of them were told specifically not to let me know they're happening. Again, I need to see proof of this, because I do not believe this. He says, one time when I found out about a party hosted by some Hoyoverse creators through a friend, that friend and the person that invited them got into trouble with the host. Why is it so deep? What reason do you have to try and keep it that much of a secret? What did I do? Why is it such a problem if I even know about it? To be fair, I don't think this party was hosted by Atsu, but it was held by people close to him. It felt like he had painted a picture of me so foul that people I had never even met or interacted with would go out of their way to ensure they never ever cross paths with me. Yes, he says, to be fair, I don't think this party was hosted by Atsu. This is such a generic, vague, rumor-based statement that barely anyone is asking him for proof, and they are just asking. They are just not asking. What is Dish's tweet? I cannot speak to all the claims in this doc, and I'm processing it all, but I will tell you I was very confused by Atsu's distrust for you, which I already addressed. In the car, I said I was uncomfortable and I cannot trust this guy, and I've already told you, and Brax has already mentioned it in his own document, like the thing he said to me was a big yikes, and said so in the car after Anime Expo party where we all met. Unfortunately, that is where my investment stopped. I heard passing comments about you here and there, but never bothered to ask questions or make up my own mind about the issue. I need to apologize to you and take accountability for not paying more mind to the growing divide between Atsu and our friend circle and you, for not actually getting to know you myself. I've been focused on my own career and happiness, happy to have friends in this CC space, apathetic and unconcerned with how this ousting must have felt to you. Reading this now, I can see how much it has hurt. I will leave it to Atsu to explain where the distrust stems from. I am looking forward to hearing it as well, but no matter what, I owe you an apology. I'm sorry it's so late. And this is a fair statement. This is a fair statement. Dish, of her own volition, decided to not talk to Braxophone. I did not tell her to not talk to Braxophone. She made that decision up herself. And yes, I made a comment saying I don't trust him. Yes, I made a comment that I said that he made me uncomfortable. Right? Am I not allowed to confide in my friends when I feel uncomfortable, when I feel like I can't trust someone, and it's literally on the day of the event? Right? So Dish and Brax, as far as I'm aware, have always been on good terms. They just haven't collabed. They haven't really interacted that much, right? And Dish here says, I heard passing comments about you here and there, but never bothered to ask questions or make up my own mind about the issue, which I believe is fair. Everyone should make up their own minds about these issues, and people should make a judgment call for themselves. And then that's why she's apologizing. And so the growing divide between Atsu, our friend circle, and you, which is fair. There was a growing friend divide, or rather a growing divide, because of course there's a big rift between me and Braxophone, and of course there's a divide between Dish and him. So you're blaming Dish? I'm not blaming Dish. The reading comprehension is not there. Dish is apologizing. I'm not blaming Dish. She is taking accountability for her actions, which is totally fine. Anyway, if you want to misconstrue her words, misconstrue her words. She literally says at the start, I cannot speak to all the claims in this document and I'm processing it all. So Dish is not someone who can chime in and be like, oh, this is true, that's true, that's not true, this is true. Because she probably doesn't even know what these are referencing. So that's what I'm saying. You guys are telling me, you're asking me for proof in some of these situations. How comes you're not asking him for proof? These are all of this has no source. He is the source. For every single one of these things he's saying right now, he is the source. No proof, no screenshots, no nothing. And from my perspective, he's also telling his side of the story, which is absolutely fair. That's absolutely fair of him to do that. But like, for example, like I'm seeing some stuff he's saying, and those things have kind of happened, but in like a completely different scenario. So I have to ask myself, or I have to ask him, is he mixing stuff up? Like the whole pay cut thing, that's a conquest related thing. That has nothing to do with Hoyoverse. So is he hearing, because he's citing all these sources, these mystery sources, like, oh, this person told me this person told me this person told me this. He doesn't know if any of this is true, but he's stating it as if it's a fact. And so I have to wonder, like, what is he being told? When is he being told? Is he mixing up what he's being told? Anyway, let us continue. One time when I found out about a party hosted by some Hoyoverse creators through a friend, that friend and the person that invited them got in trouble with the host. Why is it so deep? What reason do you have to try and keep it that much of a secret? What did I do? Why is it such a problem if I even know about it? To be fair, I don't think this party was hosted by Atsu, but I was held by people close to him. It felt like he painted a picture of me so foul that people I had never even met or interacted with would go out of their way to ensure they never ever cross paths with me. Okay, so I think he is referring, this one, he's referring to an Anime Expo party. And this was a private party at a location which obviously people don't want doxed or leaked. So I don't think this is something that's personal to Braxophone. Right? Like, it was bad if it was leaked to anyone. So the fact that people were just inviting other people to this party, I think is why that person got in trouble. Because, like, if you're invited to a private party and then you start inviting other people or telling other people about it, that's not cool. But again, I don't think Brax here has the full context of this. I'm pretty sure he's referring to Anime Expo 2023. 2023. But yes, I'm sorry I didn't invite you, chat. I'm really sorry I didn't invite you to this party that I was not even hosting. I'm very, very sorry. You were entitled to an invite. I'm so sorry. I will invite you all next time. Anyway, this is still happening. I understand that I'm not a part of Atsu's friend group, but if he or others is inviting every single one of my friends who he's spoken 3 sentences to ever, of course they're going to go out and hang with the cool kids that they don't get to talk to often. This just comes across as jealousy and dancing around me. That means Atsu has apparently found or concocted some reason to distrust me so badly that he would rather invite complete strangers who he still didn't even try to get to know than me. Remember, at this point, we interacted a total of 3 times and none of them were conversations beyond 5 minutes. Well, that's cap because, well, unless he's talking about IRL. No, we did interact more than that as well. And in DMs, it's definitely more than 3 times. Like, what? What is this sentence? That means Atsu has apparently found or concocted some reason to distrust me so badly that he would rather invite complete strangers. When I tell you guys, this man is so obsessed with me. He thinks he knows who my friends are. He thinks he knows everything about my workplace. This is so delusional. This guy for the last 2 years has literally been on my ass in private, like psychoanalyzing everything I do. And it's so frustrating. And I've ranted about it on stream. I never name dropped him on stream, which is why I'm glad he's come out with this, because I can finally say publicly that this person who is consistently trying to force his way to get to me and like force a friendship on me, even though I already told him no, even though I made it clear I don't want to be his friend, just still is so obsessed with me, obsessed with the people around me. And like, I understand for him, it must be hard when he feels like he can't be friends with the people I'm friends with. But I want to make it clear that he is free to talk to whoever he wants to talk to. And if Tectone's watching, Tectone is a perfect example of this. Tectone and I had like the most public falling out ever. And you know what still happened? My close friends, Dish, Toronto, Fob, they would still collab with Tectone. They would still talk to him, right? And like grown-ass adults, they would just talk to each other. But for him, he is saying that I am brainwashing all the people around me to not allow him to talk to him, right? But like, look at all of this that he's written. None of this has any evidence. None of this, and also he even cites his own source as other people. He said, I heard from someone. I heard from a friend. I heard from, caps lock, someone else. Another friend. Right? He's citing all these people, not naming a single person, and he's saying these people are all saying stuff about me And he's insinuating that it's me who's talking to these people, right? And he's saying that I am close to his friends. Okay, and for me, this doesn't add up because as far as I'm aware, I'm not close to anyone in Braxophone's friend circle. I don't believe I am close to anyone in Braxophone's friend circle. Right? So again, I told him I don't want to be his friend. And he said he would respect that, and he didn't. Because throughout that time, he would then start messaging people to contact me. He would then start messaging Hoyoverse staff. He messaged Hoyoverse staff, plural, by the way, to message me on his behalf. When I made it clear, leave me alone. If I want to have dinner with my friends, you are not entitled to have dinner with me and my friends if I'm the one organizing the dinner. Right? If, for example, let's say Dish organized the dinner and she invited Braxophone, that's fine. Right? She's the one organizing the dinner. But if I'm the one planning something, why would I invite Braxophone? Why does he feel entitled to be in parties, in dinners that apparently I am organizing? Okay? That in itself is already obsessive, delusional, and it's just stupid. It's entitled. Now, the only thing I can give to him is if my friend is hosting these things, then that's fine, right? If my friend is hosting these things, right, as he claims, if my friends are hosting these things and excluding them or excluding him, then that's a completely different thing because that's not me hosting it. That's not me organizing a dinner. That's not me picking locations. That's not me doing X, Y, Z, right? I do not feel, and I will not even apologize for this because people think I should apologize for this. I will never apologize for not wanting to be someone's friends. I will not ever apologize for setting my boundary and not letting someone try and encroach on that boundary when I've made it very, very clear. And all the people who keep saying, proof, 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 proof. Where is the proof? Where is the proof? Tell me, where is the proof? Where is the proof? But no, it doesn't matter. Tectone viewers, Braxophone viewers, people who dislike me, they will eat it up. He's literally cited his source that these are rumors. Anyway, I'm getting too heated here. Apologies. Anyway, this, again, for context, I'm pretty sure is an Anime Expo party, and it was a private party, and I'm pretty certain who the creator is that leaked the party, and then they got in trouble for it, because obviously it's a private party, it's a private location that people don't want to get leaked, because it's dangerous. It's dangerous, guys. Right, I think we know how dangerous it is if this kind of information gets out. If this kind of stuff gets out to the public, you don't know what kind of person is going to show up, right? And it's just scary. Anyway, this is still happening. I understand that I'm not a part of Atsu's friend group, but if he or others inviting every single one of my friends who he's spoken 3 sentences to, who is he talking about? Okay, so first of all, he says that I'm inviting all of his friends. Then he says I'm inviting people who are strangers to me, right? And what is it? As I said, I don't believe I'm friends with anyone who is close friends to Braxophone. But like, this will all be solved if Braxophone just tells us who is this? Who is this mystery friend? Who are these mystery friends that are getting invited to my dinners, apparently, and my parties that I'm not inviting him to? Like, who? Sevi lives in the Philippines. I've never had dinner with Tenten. So that's what I'm saying, guys. Who are these people? Who are these people? So, and obviously it's not Tectone, right? Because Tectone and I are not friends. I'm not having dinner with Tectone. So who are these people that he keeps referring to? There's only one person I can think of, right? And I don't want to name them because I don't want them to get in trouble. I don't want them to get shit on. But I've never had dinner with this person. I've never had dinner with this content creator. And this is the only person I can think of off the top of my head that I'm not close to them, but we're on good terms. We met at Anime Expo. We spoke. We've always been on good terms. but I've never had dinner with this person. They were at this Anime Expo party, but I've never been in another gathering with this person. So this, for me, is like an insane extrapolation. There have been, of course, instances where, again, I will repeat, I have had dinner with my friends, and I think it is 100% okay to have dinner with my friends. If I'm organizing the dinner and I'm choosing who to invite to the dinner I'm hosting, why the frick am I going to invite Braxophone? Why does he feel entitled to that? Now, I talked about this in my tweet, okay, and I'm sure, and maybe they've never explicitly said this, and I'm sure, and I know people want to hear this, and I'm going to give it to you, but I'm sure there are people, for my sake, who have hosted like a dinner and didn't invite Braxophone, right? But as far as I'm aware, the people I am friends with and the people Braxophone are friends with, there is not an overlap. There's like barely any overlap in that department. Like, we are not this. I think the picture that's being painted here is like the Genshin circle is all one big circle and everybody is interconnected. And anyone that is, actually, even if you're parasocial or not parasocial, doesn't matter. I think everyone knows that not everyone is interconnected in this big Genshin circle. But the way he's painting is that like everyone is in this Genshin circle and they're all going to these events other than Braxophone, which is simply just not true. It's just not true. Let us continue though. Now let's sort of combine this with the idea of Atsu manipulating Genshin sponsors or events. This also applies to some Hoyoverse events, because there have been multiple Genshin creator dinners, lunches, etc. And guess what? A couple new people invited at random, but the same core people are invited nearly every time, with very few exceptions. But listen to this. How strange is it that every single Hoyo event invites Atsu? Especially when he is not only not the top streamer or YouTuber in Genshin or the Hoyoverse space, absolutely not. I say it myself. My YouTube channel, my content, I'm like the fairy tale of Genshin. It's bad. Some people find it entertaining, but like objectively, it's not very good. But he's also not anywhere close to the cheapest large creator for them. After all, some large creators work for Hoyoverse for free. I've been asked to keep who confidential, so I will not be identifying them. Of course, he makes a bold statement, zero proof of, I've been asked to keep it confidential, so I will not be identifying them. He had no problem talking about Saki when Saki didn't want to be brought up whatsoever. But we'll carry on. For the record, I don't know what the talk of contracts is about, and I have never said anything like Atsu is choosing what creators are being put on a contract. For the record, I don't know what the talk of contracts is about. Really now. Really now. Really now. You really don't know what this contract talk is about. You guys want proof? You guys want proof that he's capping here? Here is your proof. Here's your proof. Here is your proof. But guess what, guys? I gave him the contract. I gave Braxophone a contract. I gave Braxophone a contract. Conveniently, this was left out of his tweet longer. I wonder why. Tectone is currently parading himself as the advocate of all these Genshin content creators. They're all shills, they're all on contracts. He's going against all of them, and he's fighting the noble cause. Who is right next to him, kissing his ass? Braxophone. So, of course, I'm going to put 2 and 2 together. Either Braxophone has leaked this to him, he got a contract. I don't know what happened with Braxophone in this regard. But listen, you guys want proof? Here is some proof. Here are some screenshots. And you might say this is edited. Ask Braxophone to open our entire DMs. This is not a threat. This is just in case Braxophone wants to cap and says, oh, this is not true. Right, this whole contract BS, this is why I think he was the source. And if he is the source, then I believe he was manipulating Tectone. And if that's not the case, I apologize. But you have to surely people understand, like, it just points to him. Like, the only person I can think of in this instance is going to be him. He literally came and asked me about Genshin contracts or him getting on a contract, a long-term contract. Right? And yes, I helped him. I gave him financial advice. And you guys could say, Atsu, gaslighting. How am I gaslighting him? This man literally approached me after I told him I don't want to talk to him anymore, and he still had the audacity to ask me for help for this Genshin contract. And yes, I gave him financial advice, which I regret now. I regret doing that. But like, this is proof. Right? You guys want to talk about Genshin contracts. Braxophone wants to act like he has no idea. For the record, I don't know what the talk of contracts is about. Bullshit! Bullshit! And I've never said anything like Atsu is choosing what creators are being put. You literally just several paragraphs ago insinuated I am getting sponsors, aka contractual work for a ton of content creators. And yes, I've done that in the past with stuff like Conquest. Yes, for this one Anime Expo trip where we're all in an Airbnb, I pitched an idea to them, but they were already going to do something with most of the creators there. And I was like, well, we're all in an Airbnb. Do you want to sponsor a few more people? And they were like, okay, then maybe. And I think the other person that got onto it was like Bao. All right, and Bao still had some Genshin demographic on her Twitch. Anyway, that was like 2 years ago now. That's ancient history. Anyway, like this is just a contradiction. I'm getting heated again because it irritates me. It irritates me that people just eat up. He's not giving any sources about this, and people have just eaten it all up. All right? So the fact that he is here talking about, don't know what the contracts are. Right? This at the very least is just not true. This is so untrue. It's so disingenuous. It's just flat out lie. Now, this, he can always be like, oh, I've never specifically said the sentence, Atsu is choosing what creators are being put on a contract. He's literally earlier on insinuated that I am controlling Hoyoverse. But let's continue. There was a Hoyoverse lunch dinner at Anime NYC one year that I was excluded from. And to be honest, it didn't bother me much since it's just food and hanging out with people. It didn't bother me much because just food and hanging out with people. Let's go back up. What is he complaining about? Exclusive meetups, get-togethers, parties, and more would happen. From 2021 to now, they happen at every con, and at random Hoyoverse events. Every time I would be asked by a friend if I'm going to that party, that get-together, that dinner, etc. And every time I would say what, because I was never invited. So I do some digging, who's putting these together, Atsu or someone in that immediate circle. I found out that Atsu managed to talk to Hoyoverse into sponsoring a shit ton of creators to go to events. I was told he took a pay cut for it, which is incredibly kind of him. But the idea that he can get Hoyoverse, a company that notoriously does whatever the F they want, whenever the F they want to do it, to sponsor more people is concerning to me. I'll return to this in a bit though. Yes, do return to that because you're contradicting yourself. You're contradicting yourself with what you're saying. Anyway, this was the infamous lunch at Anime NYC, which I have told you guys about. The displeasure of having to meet, I don't want to say his name, all right, but the ex-Tignari voice actor. This was that lunch, all right? That shit was so cringe. I've talked about this on stream so many times already, right? Like, I spoke to that guy. He got me and Jake mixed up, right? Because he thought, we're Asian, so he thought, whatever. But even outside of that, that's like one of the most horrible interactions I've had. Worst first impressions. Like, you guys might take from what I said about Braxophone as, oh, me and Brax have had really bad first impressions of each other. But that Tignari voice actor was horrific. It was a horrific interaction. And like immediately after I finished talking to him, I literally went up to Ant, who was also at the lunch, and I said to him, there's something, like, do you not sense something wrong with this person? Like, this is so uncomfortable. Ant being Ant was like, no, I don't, I can't tell anything. But, that's Ant. Anyway, that's completely unrelated to it. But just to give context, this is the Anime NYC lunch, okay? I just want you guys to have context, right, on what this is about. 1 year that I was excluded from. Oh no. So he again feels entitled to be at this lunch/dinner. And to be honest, it didn't bother me much. Well, we know that's not true, since it's just food and hanging out with people. Sorry, I'm not inviting you to hang out with me. I'm so sorry. I can do that on my own. Thank you. But what's so fucking weird is that people called it Atsu's birthday party. And there are photos with a Zhongli birthday cake and everything. If someone has a tweet, bring it up. If someone has a tweet of that, you can bring it up. I even tweeted it out. Was it really a Hoyoverse event, or did a Hoyoverse staff member want to celebrate Atsu's birthday on Hoyo's dime? If so, that'd make sense why I wasn't invited though. But to be fair, there were some creators I don't think Atsu was friends with. The Tignari voice actor. Wow, why on earth would I invite this dude to my birthday party? But no, he wants to put this in because it beefs up the twit longer, okay? He even knows how weak of a statement is because he caps locks. But to be fair, so this is just speculation on my part, and it really was a Hoyoverse get-together. Either way, this was just a way to seg into something else I want to talk about, which is Atsu's very close friendship with a Hoyoverse staff member. The man is literally admitting that all his statements are speculation, uncited sources of my friend told me, this person told me. I'm not going to tell you guys who told me this because they want to be kept private. Please. Demand proof, okay? You guys can hate me all you want. You guys can absolutely hate me all you want, all right? Whether you're a Tectone viewer, whether you're a Braxophone viewer, but at least from these people, demand proof. Demand proof of these things. Anyway, let's continue. I'm not going to name drop them, and to be clear, I don't think it's a bad thing to be friends with Hoyoverse staff. But because Atsu is friends with them, they want to do things to help Atsu, their friend. And somehow, any event Atsu is invited to, sponsor or not, I'm specifically left out. If there's a rotation of creators being invited, guide creators, lore creators, people that just want to vibe, they've all been gone through and it hasn't gotten to me yet. And I know that Atsu invited specific Hoyoverse staff to those events and parties that he's hosted or helped coordinate because I also had friends who'd attend. And those friends let me in on some interesting things. Once again, these friends. You show proof? He's literally accusing me of stuff. The burden of proof is on him. He's accusing me of these things without a source. The burden of proof is on him. Why does he, first of all, feel entitled to be invited to everything? Second of all, he's accusing me of all these things. So why is he not giving proof? I have to show the proof. I'm sorry. Anyway, let us continue. Yes, literally everything so far is hearsay. Okay, now this is why my tweet was so heated. Like this triggered me. Like very little things in life trigger me and make me like angry, like actually angry. I don't think on stream I've ever actually been angry and I started yelling, right? This next paragraph for me is so fucking disgusting. All right, I need to keep calm. This shit really pissed me the fuck off. I'm not going to drop any names in relation to this. Yet another situation where it's like, I'm not going to name drop anyone. I'm going to keep this all a secret. I'm literally going to talk about it, but I'm not going to name any names. I'm not going to drop any names in relation to this because I don't want to implicate or share their stories before they're ready to come out themselves. Really now. So why are you putting it here? at one of the parties, a specific creator that he may or may not want to protect caused a lot of trouble for both Atsu and some of the girls at the party. To be clear, this event was not Hoyoverse official or sponsored. Everyone is being told to shut the F up about it and not talk about what happened. Maybe that's what Atsu meant when he said I couldn't keep things confidential. That's not what I meant when I said I can't trust you and keep things confidential, but you've put on display here that you literally cannot keep things confidential. Regardless, that I couldn't keep secrets about harassment, peer pressure, and more. But what do I know? I wasn't there. I just heard the same story from two different people who were, and those stories also align with other things I've been told by people who have flown out to see the same creator. Why does Atsu not have a problem with it? Maybe Atsu does, but he wouldn't want it to come out, because this late, that would implicate him as someone who let it slide. And I talked about this on Twitter. The person he's talking about is a friend of mine who was sexually assaulted. She is not ready to talk about it. She does not want people talking about it. So the fact that these Braxophone friends are telling Braxophone about this, and now Braxophone is using that to weaponize it, to attack my characteristics, or to attack my character, is disgusting. The victim of sexual assault, it is for them to decide when to speak. It is for them to decide when to come out and talk about it. If they want someone else to talk about it for them, then that's different. But clearly they do not, right? And some people are going to the length of spinning this as, Atsu, you covered up sexual assault. No, I'm protecting my friend's privacy. But Braxophone has forced me to give context on this, because he's like, I'm not going to drop any names in relation to this because I don't want to implicate thee or share their stories before they are ready to come out themselves. Then shut the fuck up. Then shut the fuck up. Why are you even including this? Why are you even including this? It is so disgusting that if he is aware of the context, he is using this as a weapon in a twit longer because he is entitled to my friendship, because he's sad that he's being excluded from my friends. Okay, I understand if you're sad about that, but there is a line you just do not cross. You do not cross that line. And this made me so angry this morning. This made it so freaking angry this morning. And like the logic doesn't even add up here. But what do I know? I wasn't there. But what do I know? I wasn't there. So why are you saying it? He's literally regurgitating rumors from his friends. This is so vile to me, and this is so self-centered to me. And it blows my mind. And people are going to spin this however way they want to spin it, to put it against me. And that's totally fine. Like, if you do not have the reading comprehension to understand what this man has literally written here, shame on you. I don't care. I don't need you in my audience. I don't give a shit, because this alone is just filthy enough for me to know that my gut feeling about this guy was correct. And I'm going to stand by that, right? I will stand by that. And I do not trust this guy. And he has proven time and time again, and this is a perfect example of why I cannot trust this person. He's literally taken rumors from people who has no balls to name, right? And he's providing it as fact in a twit longer. In a narrative, he's stating it as fact. But what do I know? I wasn't there. I just heard the same story from two different people who were there. And those stories also align with other things I've been told by, guess what? Unnamed people who are flown out to see the same creator. Why does Atsu not have a problem with it? Of course I have a fucking problem with it. Maybe Atsu does, but he wouldn't want it to come out, because this late, that would implicate him as someone who let it slide. And the contradiction here for me was insane. He literally admits, okay, earlier in this very document, that there's someone he knows that's being a terror in his, I quote, a terror, a creep. So why has he kept that a secret? Why has he kept that a secret? If he's this noble guy that's fighting for everyone's right and cause, why is he keeping that a secret? You know what I did when he told me that? I didn't go publicly and say XXX is a sexual predator because that's not my place to talk. That's not my thing to talk about. Sexual assault victims have an insane trauma. You do not speak on their behalf. You do not you do not weaponize their suffering for you to get back at someone else. It is the most vile thing you can do. And it just pisses me the fuck off. The contradiction is unbelievable. The contradiction is absolutely unbelievable. All right. And again, he says very sugar-coatedly, he tells me, oh, it's a big yikes topic. Yes, it is a big yikes topic, but I understand you were trying to help me because you did not want me to be associated with this person that you claimed was a sexual predator, right? Right here. Basically, there's this voice actor who's been a terror to other voice actors, and another VO friend told me that, guess what? Another VO friend told him that I should warn other content creators that he's been a creep and a terror to the other people, right? Creep and a terror is him putting PR speech in it. He told me sexual predator. So that's the topic I brought up. Again, this is not a matter of me giving you proof. This is Braxophone literally saying himself, he walked up to me and he told me this. Looking back, big yikes for a conversation starter. But the way I saw it, I was just doing what I was told to do, as both Atsu and other creators regularly talk to the terror creep VO. Won't elaborate because at this point, the details are no longer mine to share. I see. So what is he doing here? Right? With his logic, Braxophone is protecting the predator. Obviously, he's not doing that. Right? But like the way he's written this about me, he's saying, I am protecting the sexual assaulter. So by his logic, he is protecting this sexual predator who is a Genshin voice actor, by the way. He's a Genshin voice actor, so if he wants to yap, let him yap. Let him hold himself to his own standard. Hypocrite. Absolute hypocrite. Regardless, let us continue. I think that's what makes me so angry about everything. I feel the same way. Atsu constantly goes on about wanting to protect his friends, but ultimately, it's to protect his own ass. It aligns well with how he became a popular creator. Let's talk about his history. Again, this whole thing is a rumor that he heard. He's bringing it out into the open, inconsiderate of the victims involved, to try and weaponize that against me. And he's making that about Atsu is constantly wanting to protect his own ass. So I ask you, Braxophone, would you like to reveal this terror creep? Would you like to protect your friends instead of protecting your own ass and quote unquote letting it slide? You know better than that. You know that's not your place to speak. Anyway, we'll keep going. I think what people are saying, right? A lot of people are saying, Atsu, you covered up sexual assault. My friend does not want to come out about this. She is fucking terrified. A lot of you guys, and I'm sorry for this call out, but like a lot of you Tech Tone viewers, I don't know about Braxophone viewers, but a lot of you Tech Tone viewers, let me say this. I have never seen so many Blue Lock, JJK, Naruto, Dragon Ball profile pictures spamming my mentions or spamming my replies. But you guys are like young boys. You're like young men. Well, not young men is a stretch, but you guys are young boys, young teenagers. Okay, you do not understand that, especially in this space, for a woman to come out about sexual assault, they're just going to be harassed by idiots like you with your freaking Blue Lock, it's all about ego profile pictures. All right? You guys will always blame the victim. You guys are, oh, why didn't you go to the police? The police are fucking shit. This shit happens all the time. We've seen it time and time and again. Sexual assault victims get absolutely shat on. Their voices get absolutely fucking minimized to the ground. It's so fucking sad. Right? So you can't just be like, just say it. Just say it. No, just say it. Just say it. You just can't do it. It's not that simple. And I want to appeal to your empathy, to those people who are so deeply rooted in like their misogynistic thinking or victim blaming. Those people who think like, oh, if a woman dresses like sexy, that's their fault if they get raped. Right? I know there's plenty of you guys like that out there who's probably watching the stream right now. I want you to just think for a moment with a bit of empathy. If that was your mother, if that was your sister, if that was your cousin, your friend, your daughter, would you have the same energy? No. No, you wouldn't. So this is why it's so repulsive that this man who knows what's going on is trying to come across as like some instigator of you should speak on their behalf. Actually, you're saving your ass. Actually, you're covering your own ass. It is terrifying. And he should know this because he's making a legitimate twit longer on me. He should know. He's even stated how terrifying it is. Do you know how much more terrifying it would be if you have to come out and accuse someone of sexual assault? Right? People don't go into these instances. They don't record all the time, you know? So, of course, and people are going to be exactly like the Tectone viewers. Proof, 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 proof. Right? Guys will always be like that. They'll be like, proof, proof. You're accusing this person of sexual assault. Proof, 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 proof. Right? It's a lose, lose, just lose, 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 lose situation. And this is not related to this document anymore. This is just a message I have to all the young guys watching this stream right now that are so out of touch with how difficult it is to be a female creator, how difficult it is just to be a woman. All right? And this isn't like some noble rant. This is just the truth. Any married man should feel the same way. Any person with a girlfriend or a partner that they love should feel the same way. I'm getting heated. I'm getting pissed. I'm getting pissed. Anyway, I'm going on a tangent. Regardless, let us move on. Let's talk about his history. Back when Atsu was a smaller creator, smaller than me even, this is what I mean. This guy has been just stalking my numbers, my channel, my presence. From day one, he has been on my ass. He is obsessed with numbers. My numbers. Atsu is just numbers. This is a self-report. But anyway, back when Atsu was a smaller creator, smaller than me even, he really exploded after two controversies. The first is the Zhongli fiasco. I think we all remember that. I think it was me, Tectone, and there was someone else who was pro Zhongli, with him being the only creator to say that Zhongli was fine pre-buff. Wow, isn't that funny that he's leaving out Tectone of this? Wow. Literally the two biggest people who got shat on that time was me and Tectone. Come on now. Come on now. Come on now. Come on now. But I guess back then, guys, he did not have his eyes on Tectone. I guess back then he only had his eyes on me. Anyway, pre-buff Zhongli, for what it's worth, okay, I'm so glad he got the buffs. All right? I'm genuinely so glad he got the buffs. And good on China for bringing on those buffs. I'm so happy he got the buffs because he's so much more fun to play. And, you know, I was wrong. I'm so glad he got the buffs. What I don't agree with, though, is that my stance that shields were OP and shields were very good, I still stand by that. All right? Back then, this was the era of, oh my god, Chi-Chi is the best healer in the game. Oh my god, Chi-Chi is insane. Right? We were still back in that era, which was stupid. Right? And my statement that DPS characters have 0 DPS if they are dead. You cannot heal a dead character unless you have a C6 Chi-Chi. You cannot heal a dead character, which is why shields were good. which is why Diona was great, which is why Zhongli was great, because Zhongli had a freaking long-ass shield that lasted for a very long time. Even if it wasn't like the most gargantuan, like 50 bajillion HP shield, it would prevent you from getting absolutely one-shot by everything, right? And that was the main issue people had with the Spiral Abyss back then. Back then, does anyone remember this stinking ass floor, which is like all cryo slimes? It's like the cryo fatui, and like you just get inflicted with cryo all the freaking time. That shit was so cringe. That shit was absolutely so cringe. Dude, Zhongli helped that shit so much because you have these stupid ass icicles coming on your face. You have these stupid ass like ice cages shitting on you, and having a shield that meant you didn't die instantly felt good. Anyway, that I'm going on a tangent. That's a complete tangent. Anyway, this, with him being the only creator to say Zhongli was fine pre-buff, again, very untrue. Literally, your new buddy here, Tectone, was exactly the same thing. And I think Demone Kim was the other one. And second is the Tech Goose incident. I won't deny that Atsu worked hard to get where he is, but not without a long, long ladder to climb. And I have a theory about this I'll get into a minute. He has a game theory. If you watch Atsu's streams or interact with his social media, is this another self-report? He often talks about wanting to get creators together to collaborate on things. But what he seems to mean by that is if you're a bigger streamer than me, in my immediate friend circle, or specifically a woman, I would love to game with you. Because there are so many talented, unproblematic, and underappreciated creators who are genuinely just fantastic people who have reached out. And the same day, Atsu would go stream and complain about ladder climbers and people vouching for them. God forbid anyone who's not a bigger creator than Atsu wants to feel like a part of the creator community in Genshin Impact. The gatekeeping is insane. The irony in this is that Atsu himself climbed the creator ladder, taking advantage of the fact that many of the creators in Genshin are young and blew up from that game specifically. Many of the biggest creators had no effing idea what they were supposed to do, but how convenient that Grandpa Atsu is there to help them through it. He knows exactly what to do, be friends with him and collab with him. Let him handle the sponsors, he'll get you flown out to Hoyoverse events. Is this not the most delusional, deranged, obsessive passage of writing you have ever seen? This is just jealousy. And I have proof that he used these people to boost his own viewership. Because before the Tectone drama and him becoming closer with creators bigger than him, his CCV was significantly lower. Here's his channel from a while back after Tectone drama, but I'm making a different point here. Shout out to Tectone here, by the way. Tectone is the one that ended up blowing up my Zhongli video. And Tectone was my very first collab, because I didn't collab with anyone. Tectone suggested the idea of collabing, so I came up with the Genshin Millionaire, and we then ended up collabing. That was my very first collab with any other creator. Obviously, we're not friends anymore, so it is what it is. Anyway, here's the image. So he's gone to my channel, and he's taken this screenshot, okay? Atsu's viewership fluctuates between 60k and 200k, depending on the relevance of the characters and content. But look what happens when he collaborates with creators bigger than him, not counting non-Genshin content, since those naturally will perform worse. It's true. It's true. Normally collabing videos is gonna do better. So, the Genshin Games, Episode 1, Ant vs. Dish vs. Twanto. 4 Idiots vs. Genshin Impact, the F2P Adventure, Episode 12. Lily Pichu x Genshin Impact, AsianGuyStream, Pure Chaos. It seems cherry-picked, and to be fair, I searched by most popular and picked some videos out. But isn't that crazy that putting other, more popular creators on your thumbnail drives more clicks? If Atsu were to try and collaborate with other creators often, it would make sense that he would grow in the CC space. It makes sense why Atsu would exclude creators smaller than him then, because they're not worth his time. They won't drive more clicks. There are rare exceptions, but more often than not, if you're not bigger than him, he doesn't want anything to do with you. It's like he's projecting, and when he tells off other creators for being ladder climbers, it's because he doesn't want someone else to get away with what he got away with. Atsu has been manipulating creators and the community for a long time. Whether or not friendships are genuine now doesn't matter. The point I'm making is that they started for his personal gain. And as long as they are around, he can't fall off until they fall off. He'll also be under every single post from offline TV, massive YouTube creators, and streamers acting like they've been longtime friends to try and get attention from them. All the creators I watch on YouTube and I followed on Twitter because I like their content, he'd be trying so damn hard to get their attention. He's the biggest ladder climber in the entire Genshin community, and with all this talk about protecting his friends from ladder climbers, it's clear he's just worried about becoming irrelevant because someone did the same thing as him. They're my content creators. They're my people to be fans of. They're my creators for me to climb the ladder. That's how that reads. Anyway, let's take a look. Let's take a look at these 3 videos that he cherry-picked for his argument. Guess how many of these videos was me proposing a collab to the other people? That's right. 1. Not 0, 1. Genshin Games. This 4 idiots, the F2P adventure, I was on stream one night just farming, right? And I was up late. So then Dish, Ant, and Jake were like, yo, you want to hang out? And I was recording. That was not a collab. I proposed. Lily Pichu, ex-Genshin Impact, ex-AsianGuyStream. Lily came into my channel. Lily was the one who proposed this. Now, if you were just a tiny little bit more obsessive, and if you were just that tiny little bit more parasocial to me, and you were in those streams, you would have known. These are not even my own collabs. They went up on my channel because I was recording on my channel at the time. But these people came to me. Right? And I'm not saying that to sound like a douchebag or a narcissist, but they're my friends. They came to me. They approached me. I don't like doing collabs, guys. Right? Genshin Games episode 1. Do you see that date, guys? No. Let me zoom in. Do you see that? 8 months ago, bro. 8 freaking months ago. That was 1 giga collab that I created and I proposed. And do you know what? I got so burnt out from that. I was like, fuck no. You know, the next one was meant to be with like Zyok, Zaj, maybe Slice. And they've been waiting for ages. Or maybe like Envy or whoever. But like, I just can't be bothered to do it. Because guess what? And I said this in my tweet. I do not look at my friends as stepping stones for growth. I like hanging out with them. I don't care about collabing with them. If they want me to collab with them, I'm more than happy to. Well, that's not true. A lot of the times people ask me to collab. Dish will be like, we need to collab more. Jake will be like, we should collab more. And I'm like, well, first of all, you guys only play in your PST time zone, which is inconvenient for me. Second of all, I'm lazy, right? And every now and then, I will collab with them some more. So this whole narrative that I'm going out to people, telling them, I'll collab with you, come, let's collab, is just BS. Okay, why didn't you collab with smaller creators? So you're just taking Braxophone's word at face value. Would you like to take a look at my history of collabs and who I've collabed with? It's a genuine question. It's a genuine question because you've been misled. The fact that you already think I don't collab with smaller creators is just the narrative you've already eaten up. But let's go into this. Let's go into this. Not only do I not like collabs, but no. I will open my channel and I'll show you. I will show you. Okay? And again, this is props to Tectone. And you might find it bizarre I'm speaking highly of Tectone here. But as I said in the past, Tectone and I were friends. We were friends, and after the Zhongli drama, which Braxophone has addressed here, I felt isolated in the community. And this is not me playing the victim. This is just how it was. I thought I was alone and every single creator hated me because I was very vocal about being pro Zhongli, being pro shields, and being pro anti-dodge meta, or like anti-dodge gamer. And Tectone was the one. Tectone and Demone Kim were the two people that reached out to me and they were like, hey man, good job. You're doing your thing, right? And then Tectone and I became friends. And then Tectone and I we had a collab. And that was Genshin Millionaire. That was the very, 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 very first time I collabed in Genshin Impact. Who wants to be a Genshin Millionaire? Okay? So, let's take a look at this. This is the original video. And my God. Honestly, maybe I should bring this back. I don't know if you guys can see this. Episode 1, Tectone. Episode 2, It's Chris. Does anyone here know who It's Chris is? How many people of you guys know who It's Chris is? Chris is he's a lovely man, and he's a very, very, I don't want to say it like this, but he's a smaller creator. Then I collab with Tenha, then Envy, then Doomsday Gal Helen, then Fob, and Dawn and Slice. So this whole narrative of, oh, Atsu, why do you not collab with smaller creators, is bogus. The crab game lobbies that I hosted, Lethal Company I even play with now. I'm playing with several smaller creators. But you know what? That doesn't matter. That doesn't fit the narrative. It does not matter. All right? And it doesn't matter. Like, people's view counts do not matter to me. They do not matter to me. Believe it or not. But for Braxophone, who, as I've stated, and you can take my word for this or his word for this, but I think it's evident in this document, he is obsessed with numbers. Numbers, numbers, numbers. Growth, clout, relevancy. These are all the buzzwords floating around in his brain. This is the reason why I distanced myself from him in the first place, right? He only sees what he wants to see about this. And it ultimately, if we go back to the very, 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 very beginning, let's go back here. Where is this? In the time between the two conventions, he held some collaborations with other creators, but I just kind of assumed I was too small to join because as a smaller creator, I assumed bigger creators wouldn't talk to you unless you had numbers. But what did I just show you guys on my channel for that time period? Me collabing with smaller creators. So that's another bogus narrative that he's put out there. Let's go back though. Let's go back. Keywords, I just kind of assumed. Yeah, he did kind of assume. All he had to do was take a look at my channel and see that wasn't the case. All right, let's continue. We'll go over this again. It seems cherry-picked, and to be fair, I searched by most popular and picked some videos out. But isn't that crazy that putting other more popular creators on your thumbnail drives more clicks? If Atsu were to try and collaborate with other creators often, it would make sense then that he would grow in the CC space. It makes sense why Atsu would exclude creators smaller than him then, because they're not worth his time. They won't drive more clicks. There are rare exceptions, but more often than not, if you're not bigger than him, he doesn't want anything to do with you. It's like he's projecting. Ironic. And when he tells off other creators for being ladder climbers, it's because he doesn't want someone else to get away with what he got away with. Atsu has been manipulating creators and the community for a long time. Whether or not friendships are genuine now doesn't matter. The point I'm making is that they started for his personal gain. And as long as they are around, he can't fall off until they fall off. He'll also be under every single post from offline TV, massive YouTube creators, and streamers acting like they've been longtime friends to try and get attention from them, or the creators I watch on YouTube and followed on Twitter because I like their content. He'd be trying so damn hard to get their attention. He's the biggest ladder climber in the entire Genshin community, and with all this talk about protecting his friends from ladder climbers, it's clear he's just worried about becoming irrelevant because someone did the same thing as him. And again, this narrative that I want to grow, guys, you just have to look at my consistency with uploading videos and Twitch streams to realize I am one of the laziest bastards out there. I am one of the least motivated, least ambitious content creators out there. Dude, I bet I haven't even uploaded like a third of what Braxophone has uploaded in the last 3 months. In the last 2 months of 2023, I uploaded like 4 or 5 videos, guys. All right? If I don't want to play or I don't want to record, I just don't do it. And I don't understand why it's so hard for him to understand that. I don't care about growth. If I wanted to grow, I would be bumming YouTube Shorts every single day. It's no secret the best way to grow right now is TikTok and YouTube Shorts. Have you seen my TikTok? Have you seen my YouTube Shorts? These are like they're so much easier to make, by the way, than long form content. But I can't be bothered to do it because I don't care. I don't care about getting that crazy growth. Okay, and if you don't understand that, I'm sorry. Like, I'm so sorry as a fellow content creator. I'm so sorry as a fellow person in the same working space that you do not understand for the life of you that I don't care about the numbers the same way that you do. I just really wish I could get that message through to you, is I don't like the vibe that people who are obsessed with numbers brings in, and I don't want to ever be obsessed with numbers like that, because it's not good for your mental health. It's never, ever good for your mental health if you are obsessed with numbers. You're, oh my God, I'm not getting enough viewers, I'm not getting enough subscribers, right? For me, I've already reached a point, and for a long time I had been at this point where I had been earning more than enough stable income, so I was happy, I was satisfied with what I have, okay? So I don't understand how much more I can emphasize this to you. But the fact that you are saying I'm only friends with my friends right now because I'm using them to grow my socials or my channel or my whatever, like, you're not stupid. You're literally a guide maker. You can literally go on my channel. You can literally look at my analytics. You could see, as a fellow creator, I'm not making YouTube Shorts. I'm not making TikTok videos. I'm so inconsistent. I'm so lazy, right? You know what you have written here is just disingenuous. You know that I am not growth driven. Or maybe you just think I'm shit, okay? That might be the other thing, right? My numbers are not strong, and I'm aware of that. My views aren't crazy, and I'm aware of that. And I don't care. I've said multiple times on my stream, consume me like fairy tale. All right, I'm like the fairy tale of Genshin Impact. I'm here for a long time, not necessarily for a great time. Objectively, I am mid or slash garbage, but some people still want garbage. You know, some people still want food. Bro, your career flopping just like Man United? Listen. That's a low blow, okay? Man United won 4-3 yesterday in an epic game. But no, I'm aware, guys. I'm aware my channel is not doing good. I'm aware my YouTube channel is stinking up right now. I'm aware my Twitch channel is not doing good right now. Why is that, though? Because I'm not consistent. I'm not consistent. I don't stream every day. I don't upload every day. I don't even upload, sometimes I don't even upload, once a week, guys. Okay, I'm very aware of my numerical stance in the community, and it does not bother me because I'm already at a place in my life where it's like I just don't really need to make a crazy amount of money anymore. Money is really nice, but again, I've talked about this already. Neko and I have moved homes, and that was one of our biggest goals. That was one of our biggest struggles that we had, and thankfully, mostly thanks to people who watch my videos, we were able to make it here. Right? So I'm like, after that, my motivation, which is not necessarily a good thing to admit, my motivation kind of just hit zero, right? Because I don't need to do anything unnecessary. All right, let us continue. And I think, to me, the strangest thing about this is that any successful content creator knows that just because one person becomes popular doesn't mean another loses popularity. Exactly. Multiple popular figures can coexist and not drag each other's views. So this incredibly strange fear of people climbing the ladder can ultimately only come from insecurity about oneself and their content. And there's nothing wrong with being insecure. It takes an incredibly strong mentor to make content full-time. Trust me, I know from experience what happens when the mentor isn't there. But as Atsu is an experienced creator, he should know there's literally nothing bad that can come of somebody else sharing viewership in the space. So unless he genuinely believes he will become less relevant because someone else became popular, he is without a shadow of a doubt projecting. Is he referencing himself here? Is he saying that he's saying that I'm not letting Braxophone climb this social ladder because if Braxophone climbs this social ladder, he's going to steal away all my viewers? Is that what he's saying that I think is happening? Please tell me if I'm not understanding this correctly. Please tell me what does he mean by this? What are you yapping about? Kopf, read this with me. And I think to me that the strangest thing about this is that any successful content creator knows that just because one person becomes popular doesn't mean another loses popularity. I think that's true. Multiple popular figures can coexist and not drag each other's views. So this incredibly strange fear of people climbing the ladder can ultimately only come from insecurity about oneself and their content. So he's saying that I'm insecure about my views. He's saying I'm insecure about my content and that I'm insecure about people climbing the ladder. Is that incorrect? Am I interpreting this incorrectly? Am I interpreting this incorrectly? Is that not what he's just said? Now, I'm insecure about my views, or maybe implying. He's implying I'm insecure about my views. He's insecure about me, or I'm insecure about coexisting with other creators that are similar size, and I'm insecure about people climbing the ladder and my own content. And then he says, and there's nothing wrong with being insecure. Braxophone, please take that advice for yourself, because there isn't anything wrong with being insecure until it becomes like this. But as Atsu is an experienced creator, I've been in content creation for over 10 years, guys, and I'm only this channel size. You look at other creators who have gone way past me. You look at all these TikTok superstars who've gone way past me. That's fine. That's totally fine. I've been here since the days of when Twitch used to be called Justin.tv, guys. I started, and it's cringe to say this, guys. I started with FIFA 12, okay? I know that's cringe. I know that's cringe. I started with FIFA 12 and Call of Duty. Listen, that is cringe. Anyway, but as Atsu is an experienced creator, he should know there's literally nothing bad that can come from somebody else sharing viewership in the space. So unless he genuinely believes he will become less relevant because someone else became popular, he is without shadow of a doubt projecting. So he's implying that I believe I'm going to become less relevant because someone else becomes more popular. What is he trying to say here? So he's saying that I believe that I will become less relevant because someone else becomes more popular. Or he's saying that, so he's saying without a shadow of a doubt projecting. I need to read this again, sorry. I think to me the strangest thing about this is that any successful content creator knows that just because one person becomes popular doesn't mean another loses popularity. Yes, correct. Multiple popular figures can coexist and not drag each other's views. Yes. So this incredibly strange fear of people climbing the ladder can ultimately only come from insecurity. Oh, okay, no, I understand now. No, I understand. So he's saying that, well, he's convinced that I'm insecure about Braxophone or other people climbing this ladder. And he's saying the reason I'm insecure is because I'm afraid of losing viewership, and I'm afraid that other people are going to steal away my viewers. I get it now. No, I understand now. Well, to that I would have to say, I'm afraid, I already went on this rant earlier. I don't stream enough, and I don't upload enough. So I would hope that you can see from my inconsistency that these kind of things don't really matter to me. And again, it's a numbers thing. It's a numbers thing that he is projecting onto me. I don't care about the numbers. It's not I'm too cool and don't care enough, Plague. Plague, let me show you my channel, dude, all right? Let me show, I know you don't want to see this, but like, look at my channel. Until recently, when Garmin came out, Garmin was hella fun, right? Until that point, I was like not uploading on my YouTube channel. And listen, you might call me a shit content creator for that, and I'm sorry. But here we go. 3 days ago, 7 days ago, 8 days ago, and then the 8 days jumps to 2 weeks ago. Then it jumps to 1 month ago. Then we have 2 videos in that 1 month. I uploaded 2 videos in December. Then we have the 2 months and the 2 months and the 2 months, 2 months, 2 months. So wow, for my standards, that's crazy. 5 videos in a singular month? Wow. Atsu, you cooked. 3 videos. 3 videos in the previous month before that. Then we have 4 months, 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 4 months. Yo, I uploaded a little bit more of that. All right. Anyway, yes, I'm sorry. Why is my YouTube in white mode? Shut up. All right, this document is white mode. The document is white mode or light mode. Anyways, Atsu has manipulated many creators in the space into trusting him and sticking around. And maybe they're all friends now. Who knows? But what I do know is that whatever Atsu says goes. I felt Jake had a similar sentiment to Atsu about me, so I just asked him straight up. And you know what his response was? I don't really have any problems with you personally, but you know, Atsu. A majority of the creators that have problem with me have never even spoken to me, tried to get to know me or anything like that. They just take Atsu's word as fact. And you can even see it in the tweet he made. He subtweeted me saying I'm manipulating Tectone like I'm some big bad guy. Now, let me connect this to another part of this because it's very, very relevant. Down the document. I tried to talk with him in person, but he generally avoids being anywhere near me. And when I spoke to Jake at Gamescom Germany last year to see if he knew where Atsu was, Jake said, and I quote, I know for a fact he does not want to talk to you. So from my understanding, Braxophone is taking this out of context. All right? He's asking Jake where I am. He's asking Jake in person, where is Atsu? I want to find him in person. And Jake says, I know for a fact Atsu does not want to see you. I don't really have problems with you personally, but you know Atsu. So Jake is just being a good friend. He knows that I don't want to be around Braxophone. So of course he's not going to tell him where I am, right? And Jake here is just trying to make it clear that he does not have problems with Braxophone. So this, for me, is... He's not a stalker, guys, okay? In fairness to Braxophone, do not call him a stalker. Braxophone wanted to meet me so that he could talk to me about all of our grievances. But I had already made it clear that the bridge is burned. I don't want him to talk to me because even before this, I'm pretty sure he asked Fob where I was. He asked other people at these events that we were both attending, can you speak to Atsu for me? Can you lead me to Atsu? And I'm just like, when I hear this, I'm just like, can you just tell him I don't want to be his friend? Leave me alone. But he did not want to leave me the fuck alone. He did not want to leave me the fuck alone. Okay, and I understand because he sees me as this Hoyoverse deity, the man that gives out the contracts, the man that lets people get sponsored, the man that organizes all of Hoyoverse's dinners. He sees me as like this some godlike being, which I'm not, and he wants to mend ties with me, right? But I just want him to leave me alone. These whole times, I just wanted him to leave me alone. A majority of the creators that have a problem with me have never even spoken to me, tried to get to know me or anything like that. They just take Atsu's word as fact. And you can even see it in the tweet he made. He subtweeted me saying I'm manipulating Tectone like I'm some big bad guy. And I agree with this. This subtweet, and I talked about this earlier, this subtweet was addressing Braxophone. Why? Because Tectone has made claims that I control Hoyoverse contracts. And the only person I know that's friends with Tectone that supposedly has this Hoyoverse contract, this whole contract thing that Braxophone has conveniently left out of the conversation is Braxophone. And I showed you guys this screenshot earlier, okay? He literally DM'd me asking for help with what looks like to be a contract. Yo, can I ask you some Genshin Hoyoverse business-related stuff? You definitely know this space better than I do. This is going to be a pretty big deal for me if it goes through. I'd ask others, but I don't know many creators getting deals like this. What sort of things should I be looking at for a total content buyout? Not sure exactly how I should price myself and a company wants to buy exclusivity. Said company being Hoyoverse. So that's why I put 2 and 2 together. And if I'm wrong, genuinely, like if I'm wrong, I feel like I'm correct. That's why I've gone so like gung-ho on this. Because that's the only thing I can see in that instance. And I really am sorry if it is not you who is yapping to Tectone about all of these things. If it's not you, I'm genuinely sorry. But it just points in your direction. And like, I will never know. We will never know. The only people who will ever know is Tectone and Braxophone. These two are the only two individuals who will know. Coward, just be a man and talk to him straight up if you ain't scared. I'm happy to do so. I'm happy to do so. Anyway, but in reality, the manipulation is coming from Atsu and telling Tectone to DM him instead so he can clear things up. I said, well, he's misquoted me here. So it says, clear things up. I said, my Discord DMs are still open if you ever wish for a private discussion. Right, and this can be about anything. If Tectone has any grievances with me, I'm the person who sent the last message to Tectone. He don't award me, understandably so. But if he ever wanted to message me in private and go over all this shit over again, that's totally A-okay. The door is open. But he has always yapped about me. He's never messaged me. He's always shat on me. This is not Braxophone I'm talking about Tectone. Tectone has always put my name in his mouth first whenever I've left him alone, and he would always, unprovoked, yap about me. So if he is not willing to do the liberty of DMing me, I don't see why I have to do the liberty of DMing him. But maybe he thinks, oh, well, I did say Atsu is dead to me. Or I did say Atsu, I never want to have anything to do with him again. So maybe because he knows I know that, he also thinks he can't DM me. So I'm going to say my Discord DMs are still open. All right? And I have to put that there because some people are going to be like, why don't you just DM each other in private? Why don't you just do everything in private? So if I don't put that there, it's a lose-lose situation. If I put it there, it's still a lose-lose situation. So whatever I say doesn't matter in that regard. People are going to complain regardless. The worst part about all of this is that I didn't want to say anything because the narrative that I can't be trusted would be proven correct. Because for some reason, in the content creation space, it's better to never express any problems at all and just talk shit behind people's backs. Some creators would rather have a clean slate from telling people to shut up, rather than just not cause harm in the first place. Atsu has been one of those people to me. He will do anything to not look bad. It's why every take he has is in the middle ground. This is really bad, but I also understand why it's not bad and it's really nuanced. I think he deleted something about the Palestine genocide here. By appealing to more people, you get more people to like you. Atsu likes to play it safe. He wants to appeal to the most general people. His tweet at Tectone is his way to trying to make all of my claims look false. But your claims literally came after my tweet. Okay, well, we will continue. That's probably a typo. I was afraid to speak up about anything, and truthfully, I still am. I know for a fact I'm going to be harassed like the last person he mistreated who almost took their own life by the end of it due to continuous community bullying. Ultimately, my mental has been in the gutter for a while due to all of this. My friends can tell you how bad this whole thing has hurt me, but I was ready to take it to the grave because I was that afraid to have all of the community and creators turn their backs on me. And there are going to be people even beyond the Genshin community that will never speak with me or give me a chance because of whatever false narrative Atsu has been spinning behind the scenes. Bridges I never knew existed are already burned, all because the biggest ladder climber in Genshin called me a ladder climber. I make good content. I don't need to befriend you in order to succeed. I just wanted to make friends in general, people I could relate to who are playing the game. That is content creation. Okay, so let's start off with this one. I know for a fact I'm going to be harassed like the last person he mistreated who almost took their own life by the end of it due to continuous community bullying. I don't know who this person is, and he hasn't named this person, and I think that's rightly so. But if we were to speculate, I would assume he's referring to Goosegg. He's referring to Goosegg. Now, I've talked about this already, all right? I have never wanted Goosegg to take his own life. But Goosegg and Tectone, if they go after me, I am going to defend myself. If they clap, I am going to clap back. And if they don't like that I clap back, they shouldn't have clapped in the first place. And if my clapping back makes them fall out and they have like this breakdown because I clap back, that's just the case of you reap what you sow. Is it sad that Goosegg went through a terrible time because of that? Yes, it is sad. It is sad. But like, if he does not want me to give him shit back, like he shouldn't have given me shit in the first place. Anyway, the timing feels too coincidental to be an accident too. Or the one thing I will say though on this is that while Goose and Tectone came after me first, okay, while Goose and Tectone did come after me first, I definitely went in way harder on, like, the degree that Goose and Tectone went on me, I went in way harder. Like, I clapped back way harder, and for that, I do feel some remorse, because I said some pretty mean things. I called Goosegg, like, the Walmart Tectone, or the discount Tectone. I still do believe that was the case, right? But that, like, shattered his mental. But, like, that insult, and like me, like just ragging him for being like the discount version of Tectone and being Tectone's minion, because like they're living with each other, they were streaming together in the same room. He changed, all of his thumbnails became the same as like Tectone's thumbnails, right? I was just like, that's literally Walmart Tectone, right? And Goosegg felt really, really bad about that. From my understanding, he felt really, really bad about that. And then Tectone and him had like a falling out, or they had a dispute and they don't talk to each other anymore, which is why Tectone keeps saying, Atsu made me lose my best friend. Right? And that's why he keeps saying that now. But the reality is, if they just never yapped about me, if they never went in on me first, unprovoked, you know, they didn't need to yap about other content creators, including myself. They just didn't need to do that. You clap first, you get clapped back. It is what it is. The timing feels too coincidental to be an accident too. I've been driven out of so many content creator spaces online due to his warning to others. For once, I feel as though I found a group of peers who trust me and treat me like an equal, and who would support me if I needed them. And now Atsu is attacking them too, attempting to warn them about me as well. Why can't I exist outside of his sphere? Am I not allowed to have any friends at all? Now, I understand why Braxophone feels this way, and I did warn Tectone because I genuinely thought Braxophone was using this grudge to spin a narrative about me to Tectone, to yap about these contract things. These Atsu has GENSHIN contracts in the palm of his hand, which is not true. But this statement, this whole pity party statement, right? The three people that I know for sure are really close to Braxophone: Ten, Rin Taicho, Sevi Plays. And this guy's saying, am I not allowed to have any friends at all? I have never spoken to these people about Braxophone whatsoever. The only people I've spoken to about Braxophone was Dawn, Dish, in that car after Anime Expo. And then when people asked me about this situation, right? So Jake was in on it. He found out because Braxophone would message Jake. Fob knew about it because Braxophone would message Fob and ask them to contact me, right? And I told them I don't want to be his friend. I want him to leave me alone. To Braxophone, that means I'm telling them, don't be his friend. But Jake literally said to him, there's literally this statement from Jake himself. I don't really have any problems with you, but you know, Atsu. And this Atsu sentiment, this whole sentence is connected to Braxophone trying to find me at Gamescom in Germany. Let's continue. Ultimately, I just want to know what it is I've allegedly done wrong. Through every step of my ostracization, I've never once been told what it is I've done to harm or wrong anyone outside of posting a picture with a stranger in it. Is that it? Is that what I did to so badly destroy his opinion on me to the point where I now feel I am unwelcome in nearly every Hoyoverse creator space? If not, what? What did I do? How am I supposed to change to grow or to apologize properly if I don't know what I did wrong? How am I supposed to do better? Or am I not allowed to do better because Atsu just doesn't want me around? So he's already completely forgone that discussion that me and him had in private, where I told him, I don't vibe with you. I don't want to be your friend. I keep you at arm's length. I saw tweets and actions from you, which I don't really vibe with, right? He's completely ignored this and he's excluded this from the statement anymore, right? And like, to be fair to him, I want to be fair to him, I did not elaborate on exactly which tweet. I did not take screenshots of his tweets and showed him this because he just had many. And like, this document is already a self-report of how obsessed with numbers he is. He has tweets going on about numbers, about growth, about creators, about blah, 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 blah. And again, I mentioned earlier, you're a content creator. You are absolutely 100% valid. It is okay for you to talk about those things. Every content creator thinks about those things to some degree. But for him, it was an extreme degree to the point he was obsessed with other people's numbers, which you can see from this document, he is obsessed with other people's numbers, right? And I did not like that. I do not want to be around that. So of course, I am going to distance myself. But you know, the craziest thing is this could have all been avoided if we just never, or if I just never followed him on Twitter. If I just never followed this man on Twitter, none of this would have happened. Right? If I just never followed him on Twitter. A vibe isn't a good reason why you hate him to this extent, or to this content, or to this extent. You're right. I did not hate him back then. I don't hate him now. I just don't want him to be around me. I don't want him to communicate with me. I don't want him to like stalk me anymore. And I said, the past 2 years, this has been going on. Okay? And I asked you guys in the chat right now, I asked you guys, when I sent that response to Braxophone, would you assume that it's an invitation for another conversation? Was it not, like, would you assume from our DMs that I wanted to talk to him again? And like, the answer is no. So why does he keep pestering other people to talk to me? Why can he not just leave me alone? So when this keeps happening like every other month and it keeps happening over and over and over and over and over and over again, of course I'm going to be frustrated. Of course I'm going to be like, why can't this guy leave me alone? Why can he not leave me alone? And he has admitted to this. He has admitted in this document, in this very document, he literally says he goes to Hoyoverse staff, he goes to Toronto, he goes to other people to try and get to me. But why can he just not understand from that very first instance, September 4th, 2022? Why from that interaction can he not understand I want to be left alone? Had he left me alone, I wouldn't have all these further negative opinions of him. Had he just left me alone instead of persistently trying to talk to me, it would have been fine. Brax only needed some advice, but you literally reject him instead of helping him. I literally helped him with financial advice. It's not about you not wanting to be friends. It's about you warning CC's behind his back. You literally shit talked him to everyone. No shit, he wants to know why. Can I understand? Can I hear who this everyone is? Would these people like to come forward? Because as I mentioned, And I would not consider this shit talking. At the Anime Expo party, Braxophone said some very strange things to me, which took me by surprise. So, naturally, on the car ride home, I told Dish, I told Joshua, and I told Dawn that, oh, this is uncomfortable. This is not cool. I don't trust this guy. Right? And I had a bad vibe of him. But they are still more than welcome to be his friend. Of course, it's going to be harder to do that. But like, am I not allowed to speak to my friends about something that is a little bit monka for me? Am I going to have to keep repeating myself? Maybe. Let's see. Anyway, we're almost done here. All right, here we go. I also have tried multiple times to open up a dialogue with Atsu. And this was already, I want to be left alone. He's ultimately inaccessible to me and he has blocked me on social media. You know why I blocked him on social media? It's because at Gamescom, oh no, in fact, after Gamescom was like 6 months ago, by the way, guys. In between that time, he then started messaging Hoyoverse staff. Did he not get the message from Jake that I don't want to talk to him? I want him to leave me alone? Why would you message Hoyoverse staff after that? And doesn't have DMs open on Discord. I tried to talk with him in person, but he generally avoids being anywhere near me. And when I spoke to Jake at Gamescom Germany last year to see if he knew where Atsu was, Jake said, and I quote, "I know for a fact he does not want to talk to you." Like he's making this some big dramatic quote, but like this is a clear sentiment that I have given him time and time. And again, I don't want to talk to him, leave me alone. But he would not leave me alone. So of course I'm going to get pissed off. Of course I'm going to get irritated. And of course my impression of him is just going to keep declining. He would not leave me alone. And you've seen throughout this document, this man has been watching me since day one. This man has been looking at my numbers since day one. Talking about, oh, when Atsu was a smaller creator than me. I know all of Atsu's history. I know Atsu's lore. This guy has been on my ass since day one before I even knew who he was. And my very first interaction with him makes complete and utter sense to me now. Anime NYC, he walks up to me, he talks to me as if we're friends because he knows who I am and I didn't know who he was. And that was weird for me. That was uncomfortable for me. Of course, if someone walks up to you guys as a content creator, if someone walks up to you and they just start talking to you as if they're your friend, you're going to be a little bit frightened. You're going to be a little bit uncomfortable, right? And then he explained he was a content creator. Okay, so I was like, okay, I get it. But that doesn't mean I'm entitled to be his friend, right? He's not entitled to be my friend just because we're working in the same sphere. And this whole timeline could have just been avoided if I did not follow this guy back on Twitter, because I believe the following of him on Twitter gave him the signal that we're best buddies now, we're friends, which we weren't. We weren't friends just because I followed him on Twitter. I also asked the Hoyoverse staff that I know that has worked with both of us in the past if they could connect us in some way to figure out what the actual issue was and maybe at least fix this he said, she said disaster, but they were unsuccessful. It's not a he said, she said disaster. It was a I said, Braxophone, I do not want to be your friend, leave me alone. Braxophone says, no, I'm going to keep messaging you. No, I'm going to keep asking to talk to you. Disaster. But they were unsuccessful in opening a dialogue and ended up ghosting me for a few months because they were unsatisfied with outcome or trying to find other ways to solve things. And for the people who are asking like proof about this Hoyoverse thing, there you go. He literally says it. I also asked the Hoyoverse staff. That's not true though, because he asked multiple Hoyoverse staff to do that for him, right? He has avoided me since the start, hated me since I told friends about his strange distrust, or maybe even before that. Talked shit about me to all of his friends as the ringleader. Destroyed potential for me to meet and befriend others in the space, and has been unwilling to try and resolve things. And that's true. I have been unwilling to try and resolve things and accept him, right? I don't want to accept him. I don't want to be his friend. He is not entitled to my friendship. He is not entitled to me acknowledging him. Why does he feel that way? Right? I understand. And like, I feel bad that he felt so isolated and he felt so paranoid about this. But I have my boundaries and he does not respect my boundaries. He does not deserve my attention or my time. Right? Like, he's not entitled to that. I don't have to give him those things if I don't want to give it to him. But he does not understand this. But you know what he is open to doing? Trying to convince the new friends I have that I'm a bad person. This all started as me trying to make friends and ended with me having to literally leave Genshin to find some. I would have never said a word about it again if Atsu hadn't brought it up again. I genuinely can't believe he thinks I'm that. I don't think you're evil, Brax. I don't think you're evil. I think you're obsessed with me in a very unhealthy manner. You literally tried to find me in person. Scheming to destroy the Genshin community and its creators via Tectone. Absolute insanity. You've already destroyed my mental health and relationships with plenty of people. I haven't talked about this with anyone in months. That's not true because you literally asked people to message me on your behalf. Leave me alone. I am happy to leave you alone. So please, leave me alone. Leave me alone. Please. And you know the funniest part, guys, unless I'm tripping, I'm certain this morning when I read this, because I had whiplash, unless he's edited the document, which I think he maybe has, he had like a comment in here, which was like, it's because I'm a white male content creator. Am I tripping? Was that a comment in there? Something like that. He literally wrote something like, it's because I'm a white male content creator. He said he edited it after some feedback. I'm assuming that feedback was like, that is like the most unbelievable reach. He amended it after, so that's not his feelings though. He amended it because other people told him it looks fucking stupid. But that means he genuinely believes that I don't like him because he's a white male content creator. It makes me so angry. It makes me so angry. Tectone says that actively. Listen, to be fair to Tectone, there are definitely people that dunk on him because he's white, right? There's definitely a lot of Genshin Twitter haters that dunk on Tectone because he's white. So complaining about someone with friends is bullying. Have these chatter ever been in a social situation? It's different for everyone. Like, the lens you look at it through is different. But like, you know the irony of that, right? Is like, Tectone is a white man, and Tectone and I were friends. He is a white man. He's a big white man. Braxophone, you're also a big white man. And like, the image I just get is like these big white men sitting in a circle crying like, oh, Atsu is not my friend, Atsu's going in on me. If you are alone, one person shit talking you can do a lot of. Peach, I don't disagree. I don't disagree. I don't think I shit talk Braxo. I don't think I said Brax is an evil human being. I don't think I said at all that Braxophone will destroy you. Braxophone is only going to use you for video views and collaboration opportunities. What I said was, I don't trust Braxophone. I don't want to be around Braxophone. And I don't like Braxophone. And I only started saying I don't like Braxophone after he just would not stop leaving me alone. You also called it creepy? Is it not creepy for someone to ask your friend where you are? Is it not creepy for him in a different... We're in Germany, guys. In Germany, and he's asking my friends for my location. Is that not creepy? That's literally like stalker behavior, bro. And I've already emphasized at this point, leave me the fuck alone. Leave me alone. Dish exposed you though. Did she really now? Right? Are you trying to create a rift between me and Dara? Right? Dish literally the first sentence in her response to Braxophone is she doesn't know about these allegations. I'm paraphrasing her, but she's literally saying, I don't know about these claims you're making. Dish said she thought it was weird that you hated him so much. Incorrect. Dish didn't understand my distrust. She didn't understand why I didn't trust Braxophone. Which is fair enough. If she didn't get it, she didn't get it. Right? She doesn't understand why I didn't trust him, which is fair enough. The whole truth is he wanted to be your friend obsessively and got mad that he was rejected. I don't think that's the whole truth. I think it stems from that, and then it just evolved into something so much worse. Okay, but he wanted to talk to you as he believed you were blacklisting him from events. No, Peach, I think that's fair. I think that's fair. Like, if that was his assumption, I think that's fair. But to me, right, I did not hear this from him at all through his messages, his yappers that he's sending to other people. All I heard is, where's Atsu? Where's Atsu? Where's Atsu? Okay, so for me, when I already said I want to be left alone, I wanted to be left alone. And for this whole blacklisting of events things, guys, and I hate having to repeat this point over and over again, okay? When people say blacklisted from events, if you are not friends with someone and you are hosting an event and you don't invite that person because you're not friends with them, are you blacklisting them? You're just simply not friends with them and you're not inviting them, right? And he says that anything I hosted, he wasn't invited to. No shit, of course I'm not gonna invite you. I don't want to be around you. And then his other problem is, my other friends would blacklist him and not invite him. Okay? Can you provide proof of that? Can you provide proof of that? That this blacklist exists of Braxophone is not allowed because I'm Atsu's friend. Could you provide proof of that? Or is your source always going to be someone told me, my friend told me, someone told me this, someone told me that? Blacklisting is more of something a company does, not an individual. Correct. And he said he was blacklisted from these events, which I would like to know, which events are you talking about? Because what Braxophone is saying, okay, is if he wasn't blacklisted from these events, he would be the one at these events. He would be the one doing these events, as if it's his God-given right for him to be there. Like he's entitled to this position, that he is the one that would be in that position instead. Right? And like he's saying that the blacklist is preventing me from doing that. Right? Where is this blacklist? Show me this blacklist. But he was a popular Genshin creator. Why wouldn't he be on Genshin events? Do you really believe Braxophone has never been on any Genshin events? Is this what he said? Because there's no way he said that. He's no way he said that. Braxophone has literally been on Genshin sponsored streams. I'm pretty sure he's done Genshin Impact live work. He's literally done that before. He has for Honkai Impact 3rd too. Honkai Impact 3rd is not part of this conversation, but it's still Hoyoverse. But it's about being blacklisted from the Genshin CC events, not Hoyo, I think, right? No, but Peach, this is what I'm saying. He's labeling them as Genshin CC events, as if there's like all of these events that he's been excluded from. If he could just list them all, that would be great, right? Because we could literally, me and him could literally go off call, off stream, talk about this privately if he wants to. It can even be on stream, right? I don't care. He can list all of these events that he feels like he's been excluded from or he's been blacklisted from, and I can tell him, did I host this? Did I command this? Was I involved with this? But he's just giving a very vague statement, and he's accusing me of something that he has no proof of. He has no sources of, right? And if he has that, then please, like, I would like to see this, because I feel like there's a lot of stuff here that he's mixing up and he's projecting it onto me, because he's like, Atsu is this mastermind that has controlled everyone to freaking hate me, right? And I did not trust him, and I do have distrust for him. And I've only told that to a very few select amount of people I've already mentioned in the stream, right? That I do not want to be around him. And like those occasions, there must be one or two, maybe even just one, where Braxophone was not invited to like a group gathering because the person hosting knows that me and Braxophone don't get along, so obviously they want to keep us separated, right? It's like not inviting Tectone to a Genshin Impact gathering with Enviosity because you know they don't get along, right? At some point, you either don't invite either of them or someone is going to have to miss out. And in that instance, I am sorry to Braxophone if I was the one that and I took your spot that you were rightfully meant to have. Literally admitting his document is true and trying to gloss over it. Thick Fillet, I highly recommend you go back in the VOD. I highly, highly recommend you go back in the VOD. Yes, so the issue is that you are always chosen as you have been around longer. Again, I want to emphasize that we can only assume how many of these events Braxophone is talking about, because we don't know how many. He's making it sound like there's a crap ton where if I didn't exist, he would be the one being picked as the content creator. And I need him to point these out to me. I need him to point out where would he, I don't even know how to phrase this. Why does the amount matter? Because he's written it as if it's a lot. Imagine, okay, why does the amount matter? Imagine if he's referencing one instance where he felt like he was better suited for the role and then I got picked for whatever reason. And from that one instance, he's been bitter over it the whole time. Doesn't the quantity make a difference here? Imagine if all of this happened because he thought he was entitled to being in one Hoyoverse event and then he didn't get it and I got it and he was angry at that, upset at that. That would be stupid. But if it keeps happening over and over again, that's why the quantity matters. Right? That's why we need to know what these events are. Like if it's just one event, that's stupid. But if it's like 20 events, then he has a point. He has a point. But I've not been part of 20 Genshin Impact events. I don't know how many events he's talking about. It does sound like many events. Am I a ladder climber too? Fred, you're terrifying me right now. You're terrifying me. You're starting beginning feeling like a yap yap god. I am a yapper. I am a yapper. Hello, Kieran. My guy keeps on changing the narrative. Lurking, I'm jumping between points because I'm responding to chat right now. I've already gone through this chronologically. Does anyone have the original unedited document? I don't want to misquote him on this white man tweet or white man comment. Does anyone have the document? Gee, he has something to show me. Okay, but hold up. Unironically, is this literally not the result of Atsu not liking Brax and his friends choosing him over inviting Brax? Like, if you TLDR, is this literally just Atsu not liking Brax and Atsu's friends valuing him over a potential new friend in Brax, which is the complete normal reaction of anybody in this situation? Character, while that's fair, I also do think that people should give him the chance, or people should make a judgment of him by himself. And that's why Dara apologized. That's why Dish apologized. Because she didn't give him a full chance to get to know him. And that's why she apologized. Can I ask why this isn't being taught privately with an impartial third party, like with a mediator or civil litigation advisor? Anyone can initiate that conversation as far as I'm aware, because all I'm seeing as a viewer is that more and more people get mentioned for context purposes. More CCs are getting dragged unnecessarily, and it's having a negative impact on the community. And I apologize, but to me, all of this is sounding like a bunch of adults behaving like high schools. I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that. So again, I said I'm happy to talk to Brax now. Right? I don't really want to talk to Brax if I'm being honest, but if this is what it takes, then yes, I'm happy to speak to Brax, whether publicly or privately. But there's a lot in this that I feel is so wrong. This is the original. What am I looking at? Oh, the highlighted is the edited. I know this is going to sound rich coming from someone on my demographic, but I have noticed since being ostracized that most of the creators Atsu shuts out for being ladder climbers are like me, white and male. I've spoken to them. They've all had similar experiences. And he's removed that from his original statement. Yes, this is a deleted part of his post, and it was deleted because other people told him to delete that. He did not do that of his own volition.